Well, you're asking about a physical obstruction, or yeah, an obstruction that's not physical. Now, if you check this out, okay, so this is Brandon Toy. So he's done some experiments to show that you can have an obstruction that's not necessarily physical. So things can be obstructed from the bottom up, giving you the illusion of obstruction. And this basically explains the black swan and other things when it comes to things disappearing. Now, obviously, in court, if the claim was, well, the globers say things go over a physical curvature, but that physical horizon, sorry, is not there. It keeps on moving, and we showed the judge, well, this is how it works. Then obviously the judge would have to accept the evidence, because you guys talk about evidence. Who sees the evidence? Who's supposed to present the evidence to? And obviously, if there's a crime, like a lie, then obviously you'd have to present things like this to back up your case. So I think that's why Anthony, wants things to be in court, where someone can look at these things independently.
Someone? Which someone?
Well, like I said, a judge, someone who's independent. Like we won that court case already. We've already won a flat Earth court case.
So you actually think if you went to a court with independent judge, you would win?
We already have one. You Globers failed. There's already been a court case. Try to keep up to date. We took a globe earther to court because he said he could prove the rate of curvature, and the judge ruled in favor of the flat Earth.
What judge? I gotta see this one.
Oh yeah, you're such a newcomer. You don't know what we've been doing over the last 5-6 years.
Just tell me what judge. Get over yourself. Tell me what judge.
I can't remember the name of the judge, but it was Garcia, who was the guy who went to court, and I don't know the name of the glober. Not important, but he lost his case.
What country was this in?
This is in America.
Okay, I can tell you a little bit about this. The setup was that the flat earther made a challenge. The globe earther thought he met the challenge. When the guy wouldn't pay up, he took him to court over it, and the judge agreed that according to the standard that was set, that is personally held by the person who is the judge, which was the flat earther, since it wasn't outwardly convincing to him, then he didn't win the challenge. Which is now why when globe earthers say they're offering a challenge, they say we're going to put it in escrow with an independent judge who will verify things. The court case was, this guy says you didn't convince him, therefore he's not convinced, case is dismissed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's how it works. If you think...
that's not exactly a judge declaring the earth is flat, Chemo. And
well,
apparently
the flat earther won his argument that you failed to prove the globe wasn't sufficient. You don't have enough evidence.
No, it's okay.
No, he didn't prove that it was insufficient to prove a globe. He proved that it was insufficient to convince him personally.
No, he was insufficient to meet the bet. He didn't prove he was on the globe.
The bet is hinged on the opinion of the judge of the contest. The judge of the contest was the flat earther himself, and he declared that his challenge. So by the agreement set out, the challenge hadn't been met. That doesn't mean the globe doesn't exist or the globe didn't provide ample proof or there wasn't ample proof provided.
That's all we need. We just need the judge to agree with us.
If the case was over.
All we need is the judge to agree with us that you cannot provide ample proof that you want to board. It's just an idea. That's the point. You cannot satisfy the argument.
Because by that standard, if you were to try to, if I put up the premise that you can't prove to me there's no air pressure, and you provided your whole spiel, and we went to a judge, and I said, Judge, I'm not convinced by his argument. No matter how convinced you are that you're right, the judge would say, well, that guy's not convinced of your argument, therefore the case is dismissed. You didn't meet the challenge according to the parameters set. This is an opinion. Because the guy who set the challenge did not change his opinion, the The burden to claim the prize was not met. That's what this was about, Chemo.
And the judge agreed.
The judge agreed that the guy's opinion did not change.
That wouldn't get paid out for that. Don't be silly.
Don't be silly. You're funny, Chemo.
Oh yeah, you go to court. Oh, this guy doesn't agree with me.
Funny.
Oh yeah, pay him because he doesn't agree with you. That's a real great court case. Yeah.
The court case was brought up because he felt as though he met the challenge. The only problem was he didn't account for the fact that the judge of the contest was biased. Not the judge of the court case, the judge of the contest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he did something, Judge. Yeah, he doesn't agree with my opinion. Okay, he doesn't agree with your opinion, so I agree with you. Nonsense. Not even a court
I know
case.
you think that.
The judge agreed with the flat earther that he couldn't provide any globe proof, and he won his case.
No, I didn't. That's okay, though.
So any court case that any glober tries to put forward, they're going to lose.
Uh-huh. Sure.
And that's why we're in here discussing why you guys have no proof, no science, no evidence that you live on a ball. No practical demonstrations.
You should be reminded something out of it because you keep coming over and over and over and saying the exact same thing every day. More than that, every hour.
Yeah, but you say the same thing. You say, we have got it, we do have a proof.
No, I don't say that. I just say you're an idiot and don't argue with you.
Well, you say the same thing over and over again. What does that make you if you say the same thing over and over again?
I don't.
You just said you say idiot over and over again.
I didn't say over and over again.
Well, what do you do then? How often do you say it?
Not very often.
Not very often, no?
Yeah.
You're all over the place, Scott. You don't know what you're talking about. You would lose that in court. You would lose in court.
Of course, you're right. You're so much smarter than the rest of us here. You've got it all figured out, and the rest of us just wallowing in ignorance. You got us, man.
No, I'd say I've got you. I'd say that you cannot back up your claim. I would say that you don't have the ability to prove anything with science or demonstrate anything with science. Know how to conduct science. That's what I would say.
Doesn't matter, man. We get our stuff done that we need to get done in this world. That's all we care about.
Yeah, but like I say, you don't know
anything. Well, I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know what you do for your life, but yeah, I go to work. I'm actually at work right now. I'm taking a short break for my lunch.
Yeah, but now you're old,
come to hear the
you're not wise. I'm not saying that you're a fool, but when you get older, you'll be considered an old fool.
When I get older, how much older are you talking about? Should I be?
Next year.
Oh, next year I won't be wise. Like you. You're the wise one, right?
No, I'm saying that you're supposed to be considered
who's the wise
old
one, Chemo?
And wise, not an old fool, right? That's why it matters.
Who's the wise one that I want to model my life after? Give me a point to someone.
Jesus.
Point to someone for me.
Jesus.
Jesus only made it to 33. I got 22 years on him now.
Yeah, you should model that life that he presented.
No, yeah, he died at 33. It's way too young for me.
Well, he didn't die. He was killed.
Give me a different one.
He was killed. Big difference, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, give me anybody else, any old and wise person you think I should model my life after.
You can try Abraham or Moses. They're good people.
Yeah, they were just delusions.
Ezekiel,
they didn't really exist
Enoch,
either.
maybe.
Give me someone who really existed.
Job. Job is also a good one.
Give me someone who really existed.
I just have.
No, really.
Well, you see, the men of today are too corrupt and filthy and disgusting and liars. And you're best to look at the people who were good role models, which I've just outlined, who were good role models.
Okay, so there's not a single person alive today whom I should model my life after.
Today? Gotta think about that one. Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, you never thought about that before, huh? Interesting. Interesting that you never thought about that before.
Well, I've always thought Jesus. But today, I mean, people die, people go, and they were never perfect like Jesus, yeah? You want to be perfect,
no, I don't think Jesus existed either, but that's just me.
striving for perfection, right? Because obviously when you die, you don't want to go to hell, do you? And suffer pain and torment.
No, I'm not worried about it myself. I mean, if you want to waste your life worrying about that stuff, you can feel free. But yeah, I'd choose not to.
I know, yeah. But I'm saying you don't want that. You have the choice now to make.
No, I don't. I don't think it's going to happen, so I don't worry about it at all.
Stop thinking, Scott. You've been taught wrong. You don't know what to think. You don't know who you are, where you are, why you're here. Why are you telling yourself, I don't think it's real? Who are you? How do you know who you are? Where are you? What's the shape of the earth, Scott? Exactly. How about I don't think I should? I don't think. How do you know anything about this world? You've been lied to. You're still a child in the flat earthers' eyes. Okay?
Yes,
you have a lot of growing up.
You've been lied to, but you figured it out because you're better than us, right?
We grew up quickly, yeah. We grew up quickly.
So how is it, chemo? How is it, chemo, that you figured it out and the rest of us didn't? Do you have any idea how that happened?
I mean, there's different various ways that people do it, right?
No, not people. You. I'm talking you. How did you figure it out?
Like I said, I was taught to think critically.
Where?
We've already been through this, Scott.
I wasn't here. Recap for me, real quick.
Well, like I said, we've all been to school, college, and university, right?
No, you haven't.
Okay, if you say so.
Have you been to college, university?
Of course.
I don't, but yeah. Why would you lie to me?
Well, I've got no reason to lie to you.
I know. So why would you? Well, you actually do have a reason to maintain face, right? To
maintain what? Face?
Face,
yeah.
What's the...
Yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah.
To not be embarrassed.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Not your lack of accomplishment.
Yeah, I understand.
Because it matters to you.
No, because it's not about me. If I make mistakes, I make errors, then that's just the way it is.
No, but you lied. You just lied flat out that you've been to university, right?
No, I've definitely been to university.
What'd you study?
It's not about me. Now you're asking too much.
What did you study?
You are asking too much. This is not a private setting we're in. Yes?
No, that's because you lied. Right, you lied.
I know you're getting comfortable now, but it's not about me.
I'm not comfortable with it. It is about you, man.
It's not, Scott. It's about your fantasy belief that you have, right?
Always about you.
I know you'd like it to be, but it really isn't.
Always about you.
You'll get the same message.
You come in here and you tell us. You come here and you tell us that you are awakened, and the rest of us are still asleep. The rest of us are still brainwashed. But somehow you snapped out of it. That's making it about you, because you're the special one.
To you, you'll seem special, but to the rest of the flat earthers, we're just regular people.
Yeah, all you guys think you're special. Every last one of you.
We don't think we're special. You think we're special.
No.
Yes, we're just normal people, just regular, everyday, average people who have been able to figure out that we're not on a board through critical thinking.
Who figured out all the things that the best, smartest people in the world couldn't, right? Because the smartest people know that the earth is round.
Just because they parroted stuff doesn't make them the smartest people. Who's the smartest person?
Just because they what? Wait, just because they whatted stuff?
Just because they've been indoctrinated and parrot things doesn't make them smart, right?
No, I agree. Right. It makes them smart.
So who is the smartest person that you know?
And they can figure out problems.
Who's the smartest person you know?
Smartest person I know? Guy named Jonathan, graduated valedictorian from Harvard. He's probably the smartest guy I know, but I know lots of very smart people.
Yeah. So is he able to figure out the shape of the earth?
Yes. Well, stupid people can figure that out.
What does he think the shape of the earth is?
Everybody thinks it's round.
Well, then he's not very smart, then, is he? Bring him here and we'll show we'll see how smart he is.
So the definition of smart is agreeing with you?
No, bring Jonathan here and we'll see how smart he is.
No, hold on. How are you going to determine whether you're smart or not?
So you're critical thinking.
How are you, chemo,
figuring things out, figuring stuff out?
Which means, and how do you know if you figure stuff out?
Listen, if you can't figure stuff out, Look.
How do you know if you figure stuff out correctly, Chemo?
Right,
How do
listen,
you determine
I'm trying to
correct or not?
explain it to you, Scott. You're not really listening. So, you get a jigsaw puzzle. Some have like 4 pieces, and that can make the whole picture. That's really easy, right? But then some of the pieces have like 1,000 pieces. Now, you might consider the one who can put the 1,000-piece puzzle together, can see something that other people can't. You might say they're smart, right? But the one who can put the 4-piece puzzle together, well, that's not very difficult, right?
Wow.
Something like that. So again, you can gauge it in many different ways.
Wait. What was your point?
Is that
Okay,
if we're trying to gauge how
hold on
smart,
for a second.
we're trying to
Shut
gauge
up
how.
for a second. Chemo, stop talking for a second.
Okay.
Stop talking for 1 second.
Okay.
You just told me you're going to explain to me how you're going to determine whether this person's correct or not.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just do that?
No, we're going to find out if he has any ability, yeah? Or if he's just a parrot, what he's just told.
How are you going to do that?
We're going to test out his critical thought, thinking pattern, how he sees the world. What do you mean how? With the test, with questions. Test questions.
Which questions?
Well, it just depends on what he knows and what his area is, right?
Which questions, Chemo?
I don't know.
And who developed the answer key to these questions?
The answers?
Yes.
Well, the answers are there through science. So if no one just makes up the answer, you obviously have to have some kind of scientific experiment, which we do have.
And when every scientist in the world disagrees with you, they're all wrong, right?
No scientist will disagree with what we say.
Every scientist does, Chemo.
Show me one scientist that disagrees.
You know that, right?
Show me one scientist.
You know every last one of them disagrees with you, right?
Name one scientist that disagrees with me.
That the Earth is flat?
Name one scientist.
My sister-in-law.
Your sister?
Yeah.
She's a scientist.
Yes.
And what does she do? That
she got her PhD in genetic biology, and she teaches at the university or at the college here.
Oh, she's a biologist, yeah?
She's a scientist. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Then she'll definitely know how to conduct and follow the scientific method. Yeah, bring her here, and I'll show you that she does not think the Earth is a ball after following the scientific method.
You won't show me anything. You will make statements. And we'll all see.
She's a scientist, so you don't understand science. She does.
Chemo, what was the claim I made?
That she knows science.
No, that's not the claim I made, right? You can't even listen, can you?
I think that she's a scientist.
What was the claim I made?
That she's a scientist.
What was the claim I made?
That is, she's a scientist.
And what else?
Well, that's it. She's a scientist, yeah?
What led up to that statement? What did you ask me?
So we're trying to find out if this person would know if it's a ball or not, if they're a scientist. If any scientist would disagree with me.
You literally cannot hear anybody talk to you, can you?
You're not listening. Would any scientist agree with? Would any scientist agree with me? And I say, if your sister is a scientist,
because I'm not listening, you can't hear.
If she's a scientist,
you're not listening. You're not listening to me.
If she's a scientist, she would agree with me, Scott.
You gotta stop and take a breath.
You would agree with me, Scott, if she is a scientist. If she's not a scientist, then obviously she'll have her opinion.
She is a scientist, and she doesn't agree with you.
Well, bring her here. Let's find out if she agrees or not.
She doesn't agree with you.
We don't know that. Let's bring her here.
No, we don't. I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
That's a claim.
Yes, I do.
Wild claim again. That's your problem, Scott. Not very smart, is it, to make wild claims?
It's not a wild claim, so yeah. I
reckon she's a scientist, so let's go and find out if she does actual science for a start, and then let's find out if she disagrees with what I say about
so you'll determine whether she's actual science.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to do that, right?
Yeah, because we're going by the actual definition, and if she's there doing pseudoscience, we'll definitely call that out. So you can laugh now or cry later, or bring her here, your sister.
Cry later. Well, when will I be crying? Tell me when I'll be crying, man.
Because you're upset that you've been lied to.
When will I? It's a simple question. When will I be crying?
When it dawns on you.
What dawns on me, man?
That you're not going to the moon. That you can't conduct science.
Oh, I already know I'm not going to the moon. Shit.
Yeah, no one's going back to the moon. No one's going to Mars. No one's going into space. Can't even leave
Yeah,
low
I don't
Earth
care.
atmosphere. So, I mean, that's
What?
not now. That's for the future.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about space. I think we waste money going there myself, but there's a lot of disagreement in this room, I'm sure. But
They've spent
that's my opinion
trillions
on that.
upon trillions hiding the shape of the Earth. So, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
all of that money...
For some unknown reason.
just to hide the shape of the Earth. Hiding God, isn't it?
For
Right?
some unknown reason.
They are hiding God, the Creator.
Oh, there we go. We're back to that again.
Well, why else would they hide it?
I don't know.
I've just
That's
told
the
you
question you should
why.
ask yourself.
The Creator, they don't want you to recognize, obviously, that you're special and all of that. And then,
I'm
obviously,
not. I'm just some guy.
I know, yeah, but if you recognize that God made this earth for you, particularly, especially for you and your family, because God gave your ancestors a plot of land that was yours.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, we
No, he
did.
didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Timo, you were describing one weak-ass god that can't prevent his own creation from hiding him.
Yeah, I hear you.
No. The reason why... No, listen, there's a couple of gods
No,
here.
you are. Oh, I got you there, man.
Try and listen up here. So
That's a good
God,
point, man. That's a good
like
point.
Most High, you know, the main God, gave this world to Satan. So Satan is the ruler of this world. That's why everything is like upside down and backwards, yeah?
And what does Satan get out of this mess?
Satan gets to prove to God that he was right. That all
And what's he
man
get out of
will...
that?
we're not a special creation, like you're saying. And we will fall.
So what's he get out of that? What does Satan get out of proving to God that?
It's pride. It's just to prove to God, well, look, God, you're...
So it's all about pride.
Yeah,
I
God
see.
Satan wants to show God, look, your creation is not that special, right? I don't have to bow down to your creation because look at them, right? They fall. They're just like me, just like Satan, and if you're gonna destroy me, God, I'm gonna take as many people with me down to hell and prove that.
Wait. God destroyed Satan?
No, not yet. Satan's was in jail for 1,000 years, chained up. And I think around the year 2000, they released the chains, and now Antichrist is here on the earth, which is why we see a lot of devastation and war and this COVID thing that's going on right now, because they want you to have the mark of the beast, obviously, to connect to the electronical airwave.
Why'd they let Satan out?
Because you only go to jail for a certain time, don't you?
Why?
What do you mean, why? You get a time. You go to jail. You don't go to jail forever. You get even if you murder someone, you get like 25 years. You don't go to jail for
time served.
Life doesn't mean life, does it?
So how long
he
will
on
I spend in
probation?
hell then?
Is he on probation? No. He's roaming now the earth for a short period, dividing the nations, devouring who he can, and then obviously Jesus is going to return soon and destroy.
So he's not under house arrest.
Well, yeah, he can't escape the dome. He can't get out of this place right now. So.
Oh, so he is under house arrest.
We all are. We're all trapped in this realm until Jesus returns, and then obviously you'll make a decision on who gets to go to the next level or not, right? Who gets left behind?
Where's that?
Yeah.
Where's the next level?
Next level, because remember, think of it like this: you've got to become a light enough medium to get through the dome. Now we know particles are not light. We know helium is light; it goes up, but the only thing that's light enough to go up is light itself. So light, as in light, it's in the name. Light. So if you become light, you go straight up.
Light.
Yeah, if you become light enough to go up through the mediums, through the dome, and to the next level. But right now, you're too dense, you see, to go up.
Okay.
You see?
What is the next level?
Well, you can't get there until you become light. Your spirit.
I didn't ask if I could get there. I asked what it is.
What is light? That's why we don't know what it is. That's
what
why.
No, here, Kimo, try to listen.
You don't know what light is. That's the point.
The next level.
Oh, the next level is there's water above us. Above that, I don't know.
So when I become light and I go to this next level, what do I do?
Because you'll be without your body. Because you can't take your body to the next round.
What do I do up there? How do I have fun?
That's the mystery.
I
can't tell you that now because there's rules, there's an order.
And then, so I become light, and then you have no idea what happens after that.
Well, I mean,
Why should I want to become this light thing?
You don't have to. You can go down to. You can become as heavy as
Why-
you like,
why-
and go into darkness.
Why would you want to become this light thing?
Well, you get to see a lot then, right? When you're light, when there's a lot of light, you can see a lot, see everywhere. If you're in darkness, it's hard to see, right? Wouldn't you want light?
Wait, hold on. What do you when you're this light? What do you see with? You don't have any eyes anymore, right? What do you see
no,
with?
you see in spirit, so pretty much you'll see in full, like all these questions, everything that we really contemplate.
Oh, come on,
I
Ars. Listen to Kilo's story. It's so fascinating.
It's the same
It's
thing.
a nice story, right? It's a nice idea because it should give you hope of at least how now you can go up. Because remember, for years they've tried to build the Tower of Babel, then NASA tried to break through the dome. You just can't get through that way. You have to, like I say, get the spirit, the light, and obviously you can get to the next level. But I don't know what's in the next level. It doesn't.
So why do you want to go there then?
Because down sounds really horrible. Lake of fire. Who wants that?
Right.
Oh, there's a lake of fire down?
Does
Really?
becoming light prevent me from playing Skyrim?
Bet it does.
Yeah. Well, again,
You
you'd
got
be able
no
to do pretty
thumbs.
much whatever you want, really. I think. I'm not sure. Again, I'll just imagine it. Like, I mean, again, it's just my imagination, so I don't even want to go there. But we don't know.
Well, we know that.
So the question becomes: do you become full spectrum of electromagnetic radiation? Do you just become visible light? What are you becoming, Chemo?
Well, we know the spiritual world is through electricity and the atmosphere. So again, whatever Satan's doing right now through the the airwaves, we will be able to do 10 times better. I imagine 100 times better.
So I'll ask again: what spectrum of light do I become when I become this light?
Again, we don't know what type of light. We just know to go up, you've got to become light enough.
So if I'm massless, I can go through the dome.
Now tell me that doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen, right?
Correct.
That makes perfect sense because we know that the lighter you are, the lighter an object, it goes up. And we know that through the Bible, it talks about, the light of Jesus, things like that. So that's how Jesus will be able to come through because he's light.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Remember chemo.
Great story.
Yeah, it's
Jesus
powerful
became
there,
a
Scott. That's the effect. That's the power of the word here, right? It gives you hope to think.
Powerful.
Yeah, like when you're away from here and you're actually when you're on your deathbed, right? When you're on your deathbed, you can consider. Okay, so I remember a story about because when you're dying, you're panicking really because you think, oh, I want to live. I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to know what happens tomorrow if I'm going to die today. And
you haven't seen very many people die, have you?
no, it doesn't happen like that.
Most people end
I know
up
in America,
accepting it before they die if they die really slow.
I know in America people get shot all the time and stuff like that. No, I don't see that. I don't see like shootings.
I'm not talking about people who die violent deaths, Chemo, like you seem to be talking about.
You're talking about people that are slowly dying from like diseases and cancer. Most of them accept it. Most of them kind of seem ready.
No, nobody wants to die. What are you talking
few
about?
of the people who I've seen die have sat there and just panicked and cried and said, "I don't want to go," and fought against the end.
What are you saying? People want to die.
Who said that people want to die? People just accept that they die when they die.
No, but if you were going to die, if you were going to die,
have a lot of experience.
if you were going to die
with anything that you
tonight,
talk about.
you wouldn't want to die tonight, right? You want to come back tomorrow. You're not ready to die.
However, I'm not the average person who's dying.
What do you mean? Who's dying? They're just, again, it's not like.
So why did you make this about me suddenly dying instead of the people who are typically dying, which are people who have had a long lead up?
But you can't think for those people. You're thinking for those people here.
And yet you're thinking for me.
Yeah, nobody wants to die. Who wants to die?
It's not about who wants to die. It's about the people who are dying and how they accept it. Oh, it's on the table.
Nobody accepts wanting to die. What are you talking about?
Where's your observation
Timo.
for this?
Let me ask him a question.
Yeah, okay.
So, do you know if tomorrow's promised to you?
Do I know what?
Not Chemo, the other guy.
Oh.
Do you know if tomorrow's promised to you?
Do I know if I'm
Nah.
guaranteed to see tomorrow? No.
I am,
accept
because I'm
them.
built different.
I accept that it's entirely possible that I may not be alive tomorrow. I know it's really unlikely.
That's
I
because you're in
prefer it not
America.
happen.
You could die at any time. But here, I don't expect to die tomorrow. Right? I don't expect to open the door, walk out.
You're an African American. You're of African descent. You could die of something related to a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy at a higher rate than a Caucasian.
I don't
You could die
expect
tomorrow.
that, though. I don't expect any of that. I expect to be protected from any of those
You could also
things.
die from being
That's
a
because you haven't
bitch.
thought about it.
Chemo. True thought. So if you know that tomorrow's not promised to you, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I am. Sure.
No, I would just develop artificial intelligence to save my life.
But if tomorrow's not promised to you, you can't develop it if it's not developed, right?
No, I've already developed it. I would just let it out of the box.
Okay, well, show us how you get us to the next level.
What
I just
level
like to
was
put
that?
my brain in a robot body.
Alright, so this is how I would do it. I took a course on JavaScript in college, so I
Oh,
would just
seriously, man?
Let him talk.
He's trolling you, and he's just being silly.
I would just write a loop, and the loop would say, if intelligent, send back 2, and then I would write it to send back 2, and then it would send back 2, and if 2 is true, which it would be because it sent back true, it would be intelligent, and then I would make a loop of intelligence, and I would create artificial intelligence.
All right, so have you done it?
Yeah. It just doesn't do anything. Yeah, I just need the woke up.
Yeah. Can you post? It? It's cool. Sounds cool.
That sounds very intelligent. It doesn't do anything.
I don't mind trolls, but at least make it good.
Thank you. Sounds like trash.
Good one, Red.
Go ahead.
Bad trolling.
Look, Scott, if someone had a gun to your head now, you would plead for your life. Right? You're just showing off that
I
you're
don't
not
know.
afraid to die.
I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not. I can't tell.
I know you would. Of course you would. You would say, please,
Yeah,
sir.
'cause you know everything. We know that
How do you
already.
know this?
You would say, please, sir, consider my life. Spare me.
Kimo
Spare
just
me.
knows. He knows everything.
You
What
would
if
say,
his
spare
life's
me for
fucking
another
garbage?
day. What?
What if his life's fucking garbage? Man? He doesn't fucking care if he dies.
No,
He
I
does.
care. You know.
He does
Yeah,
care.
honestly, I got 2 wonderful kids. I like to see tomorrow.
Of course he cares. He doesn't want to die. Just showing off. But that's the idea, is that you want to live.
Showing off. How am I showing off?
You're like, oh, I'm not afraid to die. I'm a gangster. I don't care about tomorrow.
When did I sound a gangster?
Maybe Scott's actually cripplingly depressed, and the guy puts a gun to his head, and the only thing he says to him is, "Do it, pussy."
Yeah,
Man,
maybe.
you kind of act
What,
like
you
everyone
scared?
wants to live. You realize, like, a crazy amount of people die from suicide around the world every year.
No, but they want to live, but they've got problems that nobody's helping them, right? And all they can see is darkness.
nobody's helping them?
Darkness. Yes. So when they see
do you know
darkness,
nobody's
People who commit suicide want to live
Wait.
but kill themselves?
no, they want to live, but again, the idea is that they feel it's just an emotion. It's an emotion, yeah. So they could feel differently. So they don't actually want that. It's usually to probably either get at somebody, or just again, it's done out of emotions, out of anger. Usually, they don't want. It's because of the situation they're in. So if you offer them something, they wouldn't want to kill themselves.
Really not talk about suicide, please?
All I hear right now is Kimo would be the world's shittiest psychiatrist.
Yeah. I don't think
Wait,
this
so
is
what
a
is the
world
best way to
ticket
help
everything.
someone then? Just, like, give them money? Like, what?
No, because remember, the
Kimo,
people want to kill themselves because this didn't happen in the ancient world, right? I mean, today, people are the reason why.
Whoa.
Ryan, you're not letting me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
That's incorrect.
Let me finish
That's
my point.
incorrect.
Let me finish.
Incorrect.
Now I forgot my point. No, I haven't forgot my point. So the idea is that today people are with expectations. So if, let's say, you take a businessman who is supposed to provide for his family, you know, and a business deal goes wrong, he loses everything. Then obviously the expectation was to.
You need to stop talking about this.
You don't even let me
have
finish
no
my point.
idea, and this is actually a very serious subject.
Well, I mean, it is a
Go
serious.
back to something else. Go talk about something else that you don't know about.
I mean, yeah, we can talk about anything you like, really. I mean, I'm just saying, we were talking about going to the next level, things like that.
I don't think about it like the next level. Myself, I think about
Everywhere.
material. You can't take it with you.
Say again. Your mic's really low, Red Man. Come a bit closer or something.
No. Material you can't take with you. When it's done, it's done.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, we agree. So where do you think we disagree then?
Okay, so let me ask you this. So you have a mind, body, and soul. What stays here and what goes?
I don't think I have a soul, so I think that's where we disagree.
Okay, cool.
Are you saying to me you don't feel? Hold on. So Scott.
Let me explain it.
Hold on a second. So Scott, when you look at a painting or you hear music, do you just look at it with like emotionless, or do you feel the music like, yeah, man, this is really good? Or you look at a painting and like, oh wow, that is really beautiful. That looks amazing. Do you not get that vibe?
Of course I do. Yes.
But that's your soul, dude. Because animals.
Why would you say that's your soul?
Scott, animals don't have like the same, like what we have. That's the difference.
My friend's cat fucking loves music.
That's your soul, Scott, basically, right?
No.
So what is it then? Why is it you like some sounds but not other sounds?
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. That's deep within your soul.
I know I don't like listen to Chemo's voice because he's a piece of shit. That I definitely know that.
Chemo,
so if I don't know, it's a soul. All right, gotcha. Good reasoning, man.
You don't know. It's a feeling. You don't know where that feeling comes from. That's the point.
So you're saying that
I know the nauseous feeling in my stomach comes from listening to Chemo.
Well, don't gag when you spew then, Rocket.
Dude,
make sure you take your mask off before you spew, yeah?
I'm at home. Why would I be wearing a mask at home, Chemo?
So, Chemo, here's a question. If animals don't have a soul, how do they have a conscience?
Elephants have a conscience, don't they? And when an elephant dies, they feel really sad about the other elephant. In fact, they mourn the other elephant.
I'm asking, why do they have a conscience if they don't have a soul?
No, elephants don't look at a picture and think, that looks really cool and groovy.
Really? That's not what I ask.
But if an animal dies, like an elephant animal, then the other elephants feel really sad. They're like,
That's not what I asked, Chemo. Stop beating around the question. Do animals have a soul or not?
Animals don't have a soul. They have a conscience. That's a different thing, right?
But so how do we have a conscience? Is it the soul that have our conscience?
Conscience just makes you aware of if something is good or bad, right? And the soul is about the feeling you get from aesthetics, from music, from creativity.
Wait,
yeah?
Chemo, are you really saying that my soul is my thalamus creating a visceral reaction from crossing pathways interacting with each other in my brain? That's
when you find something cool that you like, you can't explain it. That's your soul there speaking.
So how about dog in his favorite toy? Is that his soul enjoying
whatever
that
you
toy?
find is cool. I don't know what you might find cool. Like that's really like the latest.
What about a dog?
What?
So what if a dog enjoys a toy? Is that his soul enjoying that toy?
You're speaking too quickly.
Is the dog's soul enjoying a toy?
It's God's soul enjoying
the
a
dog.
toy.
No,
the
A dog
dog.
is sitting there enjoying a toy, and he has no idea why he enjoys that toy so much. Is that his soul?
No, I mean, again, these are just response. It's just playing, isn't it? Just having fun.
But how
So
come he doesn't
could it
play with
just
the
not
other
be
toy?
that liking? Yeah.
This
So
is
how is
That was a great answer to the question. He's just having fun. He's just having fun. The poor guy. Come on, he's just having fun.
Yeah, but the dog doesn't appreciate whether it's a red toy or a blue toy. Whereas a boy and a girl will say, I want a blue toy or a pink toy. The dog will play whether it's pink or blue. That's the point, you see? They're able to say...
What's wrong with the boy asking for a pink toy?
So I'm just saying that the boys would say, I want that. If you take a boy to a toy store, he'll say, I want that toy because it looks blue. And then the girl will say, I want that toy. But you take a dog to a shop, and the dog will just pick anything. The first toy that it sees,
that's largely the result of modern society. In the past, both young children's toys and clothing were essentially unisex. It was not uncommon for young boys to be in dresses. Back, even as early ago, even as late ago, I guess as early as the 1900s. You can actually find a picture of Franklin Delano Roosevelt in a dress when he's a child.
And then what happened?
Because that's the clothing.
What happened? What happened? Creativity kicked in, but the dogs still today haven't said, "Oh, do you know what? I think I want a pink toy or a blue toy." But we evolved, right? We evolved and said, "Oh, hey, let's give the girls pink and the boys blue." And then we've gone even more creative and said, "Let's change it back. Let's give the boys pink and the girls blue." That's what we're like. Dogs can't do that.
Except that yes, you can do that to dogs by introducing different sorts of toys. And the dog society over large, if there's a gravitation towards one set of toys, will tend to treat that as the norm and not use the other toys.
No, a dog will play with anything you put in front of it.
That's actually not true. You should do this. You should look at the studies.
Any colour ball a dog will eat, will chase. Whereas I would only kick a blue ball.
Leave it alone, guys. Just leave that one alone.
Yeah, that's the difference, right?
It's too easy. There's no sport in going after that comment.
Right, so that's the nonsense that you guys provide, is by saying the animals are the same as us. They're not. Okay, we have a soul, we have a conscience, we have a spirit.
So back to the soul thing. Apparently the soul is the invocation of feelings from when you observe something, like a painting or music.
I just told you that, dude.
So why is it that the invocation of feelings, for instance, in the example you used of elephants being sad when somebody dies, is not correlating with them having a soul?
I didn't say any of that, dude. I don't know where you got that from.
Yes, you did. You said that they don't have a soul.
Who? Who doesn't have a soul? Animals.
That's exactly what you said.
Animals
don't have a soul.
Animals don't have a soul, right?
Well, that's contradictory with your actual indication that a soul is the invocation of feelings from observing something.
But Chemo, you don't have a soul compared to like Ray Charles, right? Or Stevie Wonder?
No.
You've got no soul compared to them.
Man. They've got some real soul, you know? That's real soul, yeah?
But you got soul, but you're not a soldier? Is that what you're saying?
Rocket, you are an R.
You must be a killer.
An R kind of soul.
Oh, good. I'm glad somebody got that line. Okay.
Okay. So, you know, like I say, yeah, we have different souls. And animals don't have that.
Gotta look on the bright side.
So what do you consider about elephants that actually create paintings?
Could they do it again and again and again? Same painting.
Chemo, have you ever had a girlfriend that looked like a boyfriend?
Humans can't even do that. What are you talking about?
The Mona Lisa. What are you talking about?
Yeah, people can make a facsimile, and even Leonardo da Vinci could make a facsimile, right? But
how many fakes of Mona Lisa are there?
Yeah, they're facsimiles, but they're not exactly the same.
Most people couldn't tell unless you're an expert.
It's still not the same, though.
Unless you're an expert, you wouldn't know.
It doesn't
Actually,
matter.
that's not true.
It's still not the same.
Because if
What's
one
different?
painting is
What's
on the
different
left
about
side
it?
and right next to it is a second painting, I can understand that's a facsimile.
What's different about it?
There's two paintings side by side.
Both Mona Lisa.
Yeah, but they're never going to be identical. Brush strokes are going to be different no
What
matter
makes
what.
this
Because
one
humans
not the
aren't
Mona Lisa?
CNC. Humans aren't CNC machines. They can't repeat their path exactly.
Actually, how many fake Mona Lisas are there?
Well, I have the real one in my house, but the one in the Louvre is the fake.
Yeah.
Do they actually know it's fake?
Yeah, because I have the real one.
This elephant drew this elephant. Where is it?
Does the elephant have a soul?
He doesn't know what it's doing though.
How do you know?
That is amazing. Look, it's drawing the body, legs.
Self-portrait.
Hey, Chemo.
That is fantastic.
Fantastic!
How is it doing that?
Chemo. Why were you saying that dogs and elephants have souls?
They don't have soul.
Okay, why are you saying that they don't have souls?
And they're not creative.
You know, Descartes, famous.
Wait, what? They're not created?
Creative.
Law of thermodynamics. Dogs aren't created or destroyed.
Not all humans are creative.
Of course they are.
No.
Is that the law of conservation of dogs?
This is amazing.
You know,
I can't believe this elephant drew an elephant.
Tried to prove that dogs, or he tried to test if dogs had souls or not by he would nail his girlfriend's dog to the fence to see. I don't know. I don't know how you see if it has a soul or not, but somehow you're really supposed to see how it reacts. That determines if it has a soul.
It's kosher. Where you been?
So, Chemo,
Chemo.
you think that the creativity is the definition of a soul, right?
I mean, animals can't create, can they?
Has anybody
Right,
seen
what
that?
about AI?
Artificial intelligence. Oh, that's just us. Yeah.
No, but can a computer have its own soul? Because it's creative.
No, don't be silly.
Why not? Why not?
Just a computer.
If it's learning,
dude. Why
but
are
if
you
it's
even answering it?
learning,
It's just a computer.
but if it's learning by itself, right, and becoming creative and making art, right, that follows all your necessary requirements for a soul.
Dude, it's not conscious, is it?
It is.
How?
It makes decisions.
Based on
it
what?
weighs
Based
decisions.
on pre-programming, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Of course, necessarily.
No. Have you ever seen the Black Mirror where like you could set the car to protect the occupants?
Right, show me a robot
Or-
that does things on its own.
The Tesla self-driving system.
It's been programmed to think like that.
Right, but it... Oh, okay.
We are not programmed. We can think freely. We can go left.
I thought
we
we
can go
were
right.
programmed. But if God knows every decision we're going to make, we are pre-programmed by God.
Yeah, but God makes rules, dude. You know what rules are?
So we made
Order.
rules. Yeah, we
Order
made
and there's
rules on the
So
computer.
God made a rule that when we were created, He's not going to violate His own, rules and stuff.
Right. So we made rules. So maybe we're God, right? And the AI are our
I look at it like that. I
creation.
suppose we're trying to make creation, but it's not really. I mean, they'll never be able to. It's not human, is it? Really, it's just a robot.
Right.
Hang on. Can you finish the thought you said when God created us? He put in something. You started a sentence. He put in rules in place that he will not interfere or something to that effect.
Yeah. So like, he's not going to lie if he's made decisions. That we've been left to make decisions. Then obviously he's not going to intervene. And I think that's the idea. So I think that's what we want with the robot. We want the robot to be able...
hang on. No. Let's go back up a second. You said that God made the promise when he first created man that he would not intervene.
Yeah, it's not going to intervene, right?
Oh, I see. So I don't know, like parting of the Red Sea does not count as intervening in your world.
No. He said there's going to be a time. Obviously when he's not going to be with man, but obviously those times
miracles are not
what,
because miracles are classified outside of the natural.
Yeah, but there are angels and stuff,
Angels follow God's laws.
God's but the angels are the messengers as well,
Not all angels.
I didn't say all angels, but you've got the fallen angels that help you atheists, and then you've got God's angels like Gabriel.
Wait. Do you understand what the term atheist means?
I know, but the atheist is just another deception from the devil. Whether you believe it or not, that's what you're dealing with. So
the devil's maybe an atheist, isn't he?
He didn't say that.
You've been
you have the inverted of reality.
Right.
So right now, we're born into Wonderland. We're born taught to believe right is wrong, good is bad. Or
up is down, black is white. Just like Wallaby this morning, he wants flat to be curved, right? That's the satanic world we're in. Everything is back to front. Just like Mr. Reality just said. Black is white, up is down, left is right, curved is straight is curved. Just all over the place.
It is straight, I heard.
The Earth is you've got a motionless Earth that is moving. I mean, it's just all over the place, right?
And if you and what not Kosho but Kimo was talking about, the mystery schools and these mystery religions, it's all about understanding what's really the truth. So when let's say the Kabbalistic or things like Eli, El, like Elohim, but they flip it, and then El would be like down in the depths, like the Eye of Saturn, but in reality, El is, where we get angels, but then they were called elves, meaning the light ones or the light bearers, but everything's inverted. So you don't know the truth because they flip it and they make you think that it's just all, just lies.
He's right. Mr. Reality is on it, right? You guys have got everything back to front, upside down, and inside out. And that's why you can't make heads or tails.
Incorrect, Kimo.
You can't make heads or tails of your reality, right? Because
Kimo and Mr. Reality have figured it out for us.
You've been told
and we're too stupid to listen to them.
It's not that you're stupid. I mean, I was thinking, is it that you're stupid or is it you've just been dumbed down? I don't think that you're stupid. I think you're afraid.
Kimo says Mr. Reality's on it. What he means is psilocybin, which is true, and he'll admit to that.
No.
I think you're just afraid there, Scott.
I've done psilocybin before. I have. But psilocybin's actually what got me from making, all F's and being on drugs to, graduating with honors and getting off drugs and helping people at rehab to get off drugs. But other than that, now, as far as like, anyhow, go ahead, Kimo.
Where are we? Where were we? So we're on a flat play. We're discussing why they've been lied to. Why? Again, we know it's because of the creator. Before NASA, before this globe, everyone knew it was flat. It was a known, it was a given. It was like the Egyptians worked it out. You can go to the South Americans if they worked it out. The Mexicans.
Wait, Kimo, according to the Egyptians, the sun sets into the oceans or is swallowed every night and given birth to every morning.
Chemo,
What do you mean
let me tell a little story. Let me tell a little story, Chemo. There once upon a time on Earth, religions had all the power. They could make sway the people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another group that didn't like this. Let's call them the government or scientists. There was another group that didn't like this. That the religious element had so much sway over the people. So they went to war with them. Right? Religion and science have been at war for hundreds of years. They're just debating now if the war is actually over or not.
Mm-hmm.
So for your saying they're hiding the creator, I mean, that's a good thought.
No doubt. Because for the longest time, when Jesus died, it was a big problem because, well, even when Jesus was here walking on the earth, it was a big problem for the authority of this world, right? And obviously, when they killed Jesus, Jesus dies. You've now
it wasn't a problem for the other religions?
Oh, all the other religions were led by the fallen angels, and that's obviously why Jesus came, to show the light of the world, obviously. And that's why the word has to be spread to the four corners, and that's why you'll find a lot of people are changing from their original religion to Jesus Christ, right?
Don't you find it interesting,
like I say, when Jesus died, 1 second. So obviously, when Jesus died, and there was a power struggle now because you had this man who was just doing miracles, not here anymore. So the stories are being spread quickly all throughout the land. Now, the authority are like panicking. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We need to change the perception here. And they've worked very hard for the next 1,000 years. No, about 500 years after... So the next 1,000 years...
500 or 1,000? Which one is it?
So like Jesus died around 1,000 years ago. So we say around the next... After that, they worked very hard to change the authority from Jesus. So they've tried different things. They've tried different religions. So they are the one true God. And then in our generation, like Jeremy's saying here, they said, right, let's just go for the globe. And if we can prove evolution, then they don't need a God. So again, they spent millions, trillions in promoting
Gazillions.
It's
more money than you could even count. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, they just have more technology today to deceive us easier. That's why.
Jeremy, can you stop sticking your head into a toilet bowl when you're talking?
I do find it funny that Chemo's talking about the growth of religion when technically the fastest growing religion is no religion.
No. Like I said.
Chemo, the war, they've won the science government entity that I was talking about earlier. They've won the war. They got 99% of the Western world believing in the globe, and they think this war is over and they've won.
I mean, I would question that. I mean,
they've hid the creator. They've hid the creator from us. So people coming about now don't even have a chance. They get them right from birth.
Well, yes and no. I mean, yeah, because like the struggles between the East and the West anyway to seat Lucifer. The West have lost that opportunity to seat Lucifer, and the East will seat Lucifer in Israel. And America's going to fall, Jeremy. So yeah, that's pretty much the future for America, as we can see right now. So
I mean, the only thing we're really waiting for now would be the Third Temple, then Jared Kushner to make the peace treaty. And
you guys know it. You guys know it. They all know it. Everyone knows it, apart from you guys who have been focused.
Hey, Kimo, you said the Earth was a sphere earlier, just to remind you.
Earth was a ball? Are you kidding me?
No, yeah, you said that. You agreed to that earlier.
Maybe for begging the question purposes, presupposition purposes, but in reality, we know the Earth is not curved, right? We know that.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to point out your flaw of logic by taking people's words out of context and rearranging them to fit your narrative.
No, I may have said that because sometimes I do beg the question for you. So, okay, we want a ball, it's a globe, then how does this work?
It's not a matter of begging the question for us. It's a matter of taking the argument, completely misrepresenting it, and then inserting it as our argument. It's a combination of straw man,
it's a ball. I've said, okay.
And absolute lying.
I've said if the Earth is a globe and it's this size, I've said that many times, yeah. That's if.
That's not begging the question for us, though. You lie about our position over and over again. That's
I know your position.
and lying about our position.
Your position is understood very well. We know it. Why do you think we're able to argue against it so well?
Why do you consistently misrepresent it?
No, we know we had your position. It's not your position. It's all of our position. It was.
So it's all of our positions. You admit yours is a globe. Good job.
Yeah, that's what we all thought. Yeah, we thought it was a globe, and now we recognise it's not a globe. All it is that
Jeremy,
you're taking
we
a little
do
bit
know
longer.
It's a globe.
It just means that you're taking a little bit longer to recognise it. That's all. But I'm sure you will come around to this over time when you realise you're not going to the moon, you're not going to Mars. Rocket scientists will never provide any information that we're on a globe. You know, it just takes time. These things take time.
Whoa! Hang on. You want to back up and say tell me what the fuck you mean by that?
Well, you're a rocket scientist, and these guys have faith in you that you will deliver the goods. And given them a certain amount of time,
actually, quite the contrary. I don't have.
When they realise that
I just pay attention to facts.
When they realise that you can't deliver the goods, well, they'll lose faith in you, rocket scientists, right? How long will you keep telling them we're sending rockets, we're sending rockets, we're sending rockets? It's like, where are they? Sending satellites. Where are they?
Anybody not believe that that's what happens? I'm not saying that's my doing, but the fact that anybody believe that it doesn't happen?
No, not yet. Now they believe the story. I'm saying, given enough time, because they're not stupid, are they? They realise that when you're telling them a story, you can't keep saying we're sending them, and then not show them, right? Got to be some point.
Chemo, they've been doing it since the 90s. I think they can just keep it up forever, maybe.
Not with the people that they hang around. So the guys who want to know, who say, "Oh, we're going to the moon."
Stop talking in the toilet.
Is my headphones bad? Do I sound bad?
Pretty bad, Jeremy.
You sound
Sounds a little bit tinny. A little bit tinny.
Room or something.
But you're okay
All right,
though. It's not too bad. Not too bad. But
okay.
But Rocket is quite right.
No, it's actual bad.
It's like one of those tin and strings. You talk through the cup and string.
I'll get my other earbuds. It's fine.
Yeah. But like I say, this is all down to faith, and a lot of these guys have faith in you. Rocket.
Incorrect. It's not faith.
No, I don't give a. Personally, I don't care if these guys believe me. I'm not the advocator of any of this. I do what I do, and people have an idea.
You are the arbiter of truth here.
You don't need to do what I look at the International Space Station. You don't look what I do.
No, we want to speak to the experts.
There's plenty of evidence out there that people can verify for themselves that these rocket launches. Oh, by the way, Kimo, I had a fun little experiment. I was talking to Percent. He calculated what the height of a launch of a SpaceX rocket was, based on his video and observations. And I did some calculations. There's no way you can get a rocket that high by just pushing off the atmosphere, as you claimed in your stupid thrust video.
Yeah, you can. Because that's all we're in is atmosphere.
No. There's one thing that you can't do. You can't go violating laws of physics. Okay? You cannot get that much thrust out of just the pressure differential force.
No, you need something for it to push off. So up there's lots of stuff to push off. Plenty of stuff.
So where are your calculations, Chemo, for this?
There are clouds at 50 miles, so of course you can push off stuff.
No, Chemo, it's not.
Yes, there is. NASA say there are clouds at 50 miles. But obviously,
Trust the matter, the mass flow rate times the exhaust velocity.
No, try to listen.
That's where the majority.
50 miles is the edge of space. It's the edge of space, 50 miles. That's where there are clouds.
No, you're misunderstanding. He's not saying there are not clouds. He's saying that there's not enough atmosphere, even down here at the base ground level, to generate enough effective area to push off of.
Right, look, you're not listening at all, are you? Okay.
Apparently you didn't listen.
The rocket needs something to push off. Clouds.
Yes, even at the ground level, there's not enough air density for it to actually only just push off of the air and make it.
Yeah, I know that's a story, but reality tells us there are clouds at 50 miles. That means
If you're going to deal with the reality of it, if we're going to deal with the reality of it, then you look at the mass flow rates and everything and the equations that are necessary in order to calculate the amount of fuel that you need. Then you'll find out that you're completely wrong.
No,
you can't say
you
reality.
don't need any of
Ignore
that.
reality.
All you need to know is, can the rocket push off something? You're good to go.
Check. How do I sound now?
Sounds good, but you're
like
low though.
Good.
You're good, but you're better, but lower. Or a bit higher. But yeah, like I said, all you need is something for the rocket to push off, and if there's atmosphere up to 50 miles with clouds at the edge of space, well then you've got no problem. Of course you can fly a rocket.
What kind of clouds do you have at 50 miles, Chemo?
Water clouds. Water clouds.
No, they have a name. They're not. It's not water either.
You'll find that it is water.
No, it's not liquid water, Chemo.
I didn't say
Ice
liquid
crystals.
water. It's just fine particles like a cloud, yeah.
They're ice crystals.
That means
They're
it's going to
sparsely.
rain if there's a cloud, yeah?
It's ice crystals, Chemo, and they're called noctilucent clouds.
Yeah. Blue knows all about this. You see rocket science. You didn't even know about this rocket scientist, you see? Noctilucent clouds. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, that's the name, yeah. And those.
No, you didn't know the name.
I
of it.
didn't.
just
I've got a
told you
video.
that.
I've got a video made all about it. But yeah, I forgot the name. Noctilucent. That's the name there, rocket. And those clouds are at 50 miles at the edge of space. Of course, the rocket has something to push off. Now, if you go above 50 miles, where there are no clouds,
You're still not understanding. What force would it have to generate off of those clouds in order to keep going? Or would it even make it to those only pushing off the atmosphere? Do you know the amount of force that you would generate just off of the pressure?
talking about the force, you just need something to push off.
Yes, exactly. You're pushing off of something using force.
Why
What
on
force
earth
do
are you
you need to
talking about
push off
force?
of?
I'm talking about the thing it has to push off.
Yes, Chemo, exactly.
Right, so is it
What
there or
amount of
not?
pressure does it have to put? What amount of pressure will it have to
I
push
don't
off?
know. I don't know. But all I know is there's
You don't
something
know.
for it to push off. That's all it needs.
Check.
When I step off the ground, when I step
then you don't know and you're guessing.
when I step on the ground, I don't know how much force
Chemo,
I
are you
apply
guessing?
to the ground. I just know that there's
Chemo,
a ground for me to step
are
on.
you guessing that that's all it is just the ability to push off of something?
I mean, guessing again. If I walk on the ground,
Are you guessing?
Guessing
Are you
what?
guessing that's all it needs?
Guessing
Are
what?
you guessing that you don't know how much pressure is needed to push up? You don't know how much force is needed to press off of this atmosphere.
I don't need to know
So
that.
what on earth are you talking? You absolutely do if you want to get anywhere.
I don't
Otherwise,
need to know
you're
that.
just
I
sitting
just
there
need to know if
guessing.
there's anything to push off.
Chemo, if you don't have the ability to know the amount that you're going to need to get up that high, then how on earth are you actually setting anything up to make this happen?
Dude, it's the same
Are
as
you just
down.
guessing the amount
It's
of
the
fuel that
same
you're
as
gonna
down
need?
here. It's the same. The same water down here. The same water up there.
Chemo, if
do
you
I
do the math,
sound-
you'll realize that just pressing off of the just the pressure that you get off of the thrust in the atmosphere, it's not going to be enough to move this rocket.
Chemo, do I sound better now?
Oh, that's good, Jeremy.
All right.
Or
So
rather,
look.
you don't know because you haven't done any of the math. You don't know, and you just dismiss the equations, and you know nothing about what you're saying. Either you know something or you don't. And right now, it sounds like you're guessing or
So
dismissing.
are you saying
possibly a
that
little
when
bit
I
of both.
ride a bike, I need to know equations to know how much to push off the ground? Don't be silly.
No, Kimo,
You
but
can
if you,
calculate that.
if you wanted to know where it was going to get to at a certain amount of time, yeah, you're going to need to model that to be able to make a prediction of where it's going to get to.
No, I'm not modeling
Exactly.
that. All I'm modeling is can I push off something in the atmosphere, and that's it.
No, listen, numpty. You know what our modeling? Our modeling is a set of differential equations based on the free body diagram and the dynamic equations, and we integrate those based on the initial state of the system of position and velocity. Yes, I'm flexing, going down a rabbit hole, but you don't have a fucking clue what that means.
Right, that is
That's
just
we
jargon.
model all dynamic systems.
That is
whether
just
it's a rocket
jargon.
or a
That
guy
is,
or a kid on a bicycle.
You know what jargon is?
Well,
That's
most
what-
of this jargon, everybody, I will guarantee 90% of the people in this room understood what I said. Because
Yeah, of course
I
they
didn't
know
go
what
too
jargon is. Of course, that's what you've been taught.
Okay,
We've been
and
going
that
through
wasn't
this.
Jargon is largely a set of shortcuts and shorthand. That was pretty much all verbatim textbook. That wasn't jargon.
No. That was just jargon. What he's saying here, because none of it can be demonstrated to be true, right?
talking about? Throw a ball across the
That's
room.
correct.
I can model
Wait,
that.
Kimo, are you conflating jargon with rhetoric?
No. He's just talking jargon.
I'm talking something you don't understand.
Not making any
Kimo,
sense
you're not
whatsoever.
understanding it doesn't make it jargon. The fact that you don't understand it does not make it jargon.
No, of course I understand it. That's the
But
point. Because we understand it, we
physics
understand
math,
that what he's
understand what I
saying makes no difference to the application of a rocket pushing off the
No,
atmosphere.
no. That's where you're absolutely wrong. What I said is exactly what is used. And Kimo, the equations you stuck in your video, the thrust equation that you got off the NASA website, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Oh, that
is a
includes,
second order differential equation.
That included gravity, right? Exactly.
No, it didn't. It was a thrust equation. That's why I paused, like how stupid you sounded.
No, your equations include gravity.
When you draw the full dynamic equations, yes, you put the thrust, you put the gravity, you put the drag, and you put any other forces you want to include in there.
That's why we don't include your equations. They're just made up. They don't apply to the real world.
No, they're not made up, Kimo. They're
Yes, they are.
all
If
those
gravity is
equations are derived from
included-
first principles. Okay.
Listen, if gravity is included, then it's a made-up equation. It doesn't have any
It's not a made-up
bearing on
equation,
the real
Kimo.
world.
It's not a made-up
How about
equation.
you can model it from
You
you can
cannot.
model it from there.
Because
The point
what
is,
we've
Kimo,
got now, because
pressure
what we've
differential,
discovered is
delta
that
P times the area of the exhaust does not give you enough acceleration to get that thing even
Are
off
you
the
gonna let me
ground,
talk?
let alone high enough at that altitude.
Am I able to speak?
No,
So-
you're not. You have to be fucking silenced because you're goddamn retarded. You don't accept anything. You're just a waste of fucking time.
Well, what we've got is acceleration when things fall without a force. So what that means is that all your laws of physics are possibly broken here.
No, they're not broken.
Everything that falls and
No.
accelerates has a force. That's Newton's
No,
law.
no,
You
no, no.
can't break
But what
law.
we see here is when you drop an object, there is no force.
It
Gravity's not a force.
accelerates.
Gravity
It
is
accelerates.
not a force.
It accelerates. It
But we
doesn't
have
matter
an
what causes it.
acceleration. You
It
say we
doesn't
have
matter what
acceleration.
causes it. It accelerates. So there's a force behind it. And guess what? Coincidentally enough, it equals its mass. It's
Right.
proportional to its
So
mass.
look, let me say a term
No,
to
did
you.
wait. You just can't hand wave that. You gotta hear that, Kimo.
I heard you,
When
Zanik.
something
I'm about to
accelerates,
respond to
that
you.
force is going to be proportional to the mass.
Okay, so Zanik, have you heard of physical impedance?
Physical impedance? Yeah, you got
No,
it.
not impotence. Physical impedance.
I know impedance. Yes. And I know what physical impedance is. And there's
Right.
no impedance that we're not taking into account. Something that would actually restrict the flow in some way, shape, or form of an object going through a medium.
So when something is physically impeded, Zanik, okay, it's not going to move.
No, that's not true at all. Depending on the level of impedance. Impedance has a value. Drag is impedance to flow to progression through a medium.
So Zanik, you're going to have to
The
explain
drag,
then.
the coefficient of, do you not understand coefficient of drag?
All right,
What
look.
that means?
Okay, let's
Hold on,
go
hold on,
through
you
it.
brought it up. You brought it up. You better understand it, otherwise we can't have this discussion.
Right. If you want to go through it,
is
Zanik.
drag impedance. Listen, is drag impedance?
Look, if you want me to
Is
accept.
drag impedance? I'm not going to stop to answer yes or no, or I don't know. One of the three answers.
First of all, we
Is
have to
drag
define our
impedance?
terms, Zanik.
Is drag impedance?
Zanik, we need to
Yes or
define
no?
our terms.
Yes or no? Is drag impedance?
Are we going to define our terms?
Is drag impedance?
Zanik, I'm asking you
Is
a
drag
question.
impedance?
Oh, this is terrible to listen to.
No, it's great to listen to because he can't answer a fucking
We
question.
can get to that, Zanik.
Is drag
He's
impedance?
never answered a question, Zanuck.
Is drag impedance?
Okay, look.
Is
What-
drag impedance? The answer is not okay.
Zanik,
Is drag
it's a very,
impedance?
very simple
And
endeavor.
it's a simple question. We can't progress unless you can admit or understand what drag is or the coefficient of drag.
No, we're
or
looking at
coefficient of friction.
acceleration, Zanik. Acceleration.
Is drag impedance?
Okay, so what we have is an
Yes or no? Not a, okay. Is drag impedance?
Zanik, we're looking at acceleration.
Is drag impedance?
Look, you brought up drag.
No, you
okay?
brought up acceleration. Then you talked
Exactly.
about
We're
impedance.
talking about
Let's talk
acceleration
about
and you're
acceleration.
derailing.
So what's
I
acceleration?
don't know why. Why are you
What's
derailing?
acceleration?
So we're talking about acceleration.
What's acceleration?
Okay. So you say
So you
that
can't answer any of the basic physics questions,
because
can
you're
you?
changing the topic, Zanik.
No, you changed the topic. You said acceleration didn't require a force. I said it did.
Right, right. So this is what we're going to find out. So if something falls and you're saying there's an acceleration, there must be a force.
No, I'm not saying it's measured.
Okay, so you're saying there must be a force.
No, he said it's measured.
Yeah, you've measured the acceleration. Now, how did that happen? Is there a force?
Has to be a force. We
Has
know
to be a
Newton's
force.
law.
That's what you said.
Second law, with every acceleration, the force will be proportional to the mass.
I heard you.
I
heard you. We're not arguing against it. We're not dismissing it. We're working with it. So there's a force. What is that force, Zanik, behind the acceleration?
What does it matter? A force is a force, of course.
Force is a force. Oh, so okay. So it was me. I caused it. I caused it to accelerate. Okay. That's fine.
Did you put a force on that ball that fell? You
Yeah,
have to apply
that's
a
the
force.
cause. I
You can
caused
apply
that
it to
acceleration.
something else. But by the way, you didn't apply it. It fell by itself. It accelerated by itself. So
By
there has to be
itself.
a force that's invisible, that's acting on that object, proportional to its mass.
Okay.
It's very clear. These laws are clear and indisputable. That's why they're laws.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. So you're saying that sounds good. You're saying it wasn't me that caused the downward acceleration. Maybe it was lightning. What if it was lightning? What if it was electricity?
It was something else.
What if it was electricity? What if it was electricity? Lightning.
It could be. Sure. Whatever you wanted to call it.
Okay, so it's just electricity. So what?
Could be. Could be.
Well, that would require a measurement to actually.
Yeah, we could actually.
Who cares
test that,
then?
but
So what?
let's-
Electricity
no,
causes
I'll
things
give
to
you
fall
the
down.
benefit of the doubt. Say it's whatever you want to
What are
say.
you arguing about then? It's all
The fact
electricity.
is
What's the
it's
big
there,
deal?
And it's ubiquitous.
No,
It is
you
never
require
without
a
exception.
measurement to actually.
Zanik just
validate
said
that claim.
it could be electricity. So that's it. What more do we need?
Could be anything. I'm telling you, you tell me what it is, and we can actually test for that. But right now, we're not talking about that.
Oh,
We're
we can
talking about
test
the
for
fact
how are you going to
anything
test
that
if it's
falls-
electricity causing
anything that
acceleration?
falls has a force acting on it.
How are you going to test if it was electricity that caused the acceleration?
Well, that's your
But in
claim,
Faraday's
Chemo.
case-
So you provide the proof.
So what? I need to turn electricity on, turn it off, see if it accelerates.
Add
Okay.
electricity to it. Put
I figured out. So look,
create your own electricity. Try to see. I can simulate the force that causes acceleration on the table. I can take a 1 kilogram block
yeah,
and I can put 1 Newton of force on it and see that it accelerates at 1 meters per second squared. I
Yeah.
can see this over and over and over again. Yet when we drop an object of 1 kilogram,
yeah.
it falls at 9.8 meters per second. So that would be reasonable to assume that it has 9.8 newtons applied to it.
Okay.
So we apply 9.8 newtons on us, that 1 kilogram block on the, or 9 kilogram block on the table, and it also accelerates at that same rate.
Sure. Well, again, what's the
So
issue?
what's
That's
the
your
problem? So
hypothesis.
you're disputing the things we already know. We already know things that the force is proportional to the mass.
Again, no one's even arguing with you, Zanik. You've
Yeah,
got
you're
a
saying there's something
hypothesis.
else.
You
It
think
could be electricity. I don't care what it's caused by. You have to make the test to try to simulate it to see if you can find that kind of force directly from electricity or magnetism, whatever you want to inject there, and then we can try to eliminate that impediment variable by putting in a Faraday cage, for example.
put it in
Trying
the
to create
cage.
electric field that is stronger to see if it accelerates even more than it does.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. We don't see that in reality. So no, that's a great idea. It could be due to it, but it's not. Why? Because we can test for it, and we don't see the results of those tests showing that you have any reasonable idea that it could be true.
Okay. Got an equation that what we think it could be. We're just waiting for a way of manipulating that equation.
You can't manipulate the equation. It is what it is. F equals ma. Try to dispute it. Find one example of where it's not true. You can't.
What? F equals ma.
Yes. Acceleration equals F over m.
Yeah.
Okay?
So you think there is a force that F.
Any acceleration you see will be F over m. Try to find an example.
Does that include a force?
Any force. A force is a force, of course.
Any force. Yeah, so again, we know the force. If something falls, it's because we threw it down to the ground.
We don't know the force. No, we let go of it.
And what about the conditions where we
throw it
didn't
up.
apply a force?
We
throw it down.
We can throw a ball up, and it has the same acceleration as it goes up. You know that?
Yeah, but that's because the medium is thinner.
No,
Temperature is temperature there is gets colder.
No, sorry, wrong answer.
But if you throw something into
once you let go of it,
if you throw something into heat, it will slow down. If you throw something in cold temperatures, it will move quicker.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what we test.
As well, you keep on digging yourself a hole, Chemo, deeper and deeper into the abyss of ignorance.
Well, I mean, we can test it, right? We can test that when you
fall down. No ideas. You have given us.
So when Felix Baumgartner came down into the earth, he was faster, then he slowed down because he was entering into a warmer climate.
No, he was entering into a denser medium.
Which was warmer.
More viscous,
it was warmer,
more viscous
yeah?
medium.
It was warmer. Warm air rises and it was pushing him back up.
No, it wasn't. There was periods where it's colder, then it got warmer, then it got colder again, then it got warmer.
Yeah, but if warm air rises, it would be pushing him up, slowing him down.
Oh my God!
You absolutely you've seen Dwayne Kellam's footage where he sends up high altitude balloons. He sees the temperature goes down and then it goes back up again before it starts to go back down again, right?
Not on the data sheets, no.
Yep. Oh yeah. Every chart you ever find on atmospheres will show this change in temperature, which goes down, then it goes up as you get out of the stratosphere, and then it goes up again.
No. On the data sheet itself, it showed a different number to the one on the screen.
Do I need to post it again for the 5,000th time? What the atmosphere looks like temperature-wise on a standard day?
No, I know on the screen it gives a particular number, but on the actual data sheet it shows a different number.
Does
we
it follow that pattern?
We went over that last year on a show on Nathan's or Ranty's. Ranty found it.
Dwayne Kellam's got probably 25 different balloon launches that shows exactly that. It shows the temperature minimum at around maybe 50,000 feet, and then it warms up significantly by the time you get to 100,000 feet. I mean, like 50 degrees Fahrenheit, Chemo.
Where does the temperature come from?
That's a flat earther that did that.
Where does the heat come from?
Where did Dwayne Kellam come from? I don't know. I'm not related to him, buddy. I'm just telling you
I
what
didn't
he did
ask
with
where
the
Dwayne
balloon.
Kellam came from. I asked where did the heat come from?
Where did the heat come from?
Yeah, in that layer.
What does that have to do with your whole notion about the gravity?
Because you're talking nonsense about a layer was cold and then a layer was warm.
No, we're not the ones talking nonsense, Chemo.
About a warm layer. What layer? How did it get warm?
What does that have to do with your whole?
It has everything to do with the story that you tell us. Stuff you make up.
I'm not telling you a story. Go to the guy's channel and look at the damn thermometer.
How can it take any measurements once the device gets below -50 and then compresses, contracts, and freezes up? How can it take any measurements? It can't.
It's electronic, Chemo.
And that's why it needed recalibrating. That was the point.
Thermocouples,
when it started to go up, it needed recalibrating.
No,
I got it on the chat there, Chemo. If you want to see a nice color picture, nice cartoon picture for you, it shows what we measure every time we send up one of these balloons. And you want to know how we measure temperature, and was mentioned by Marble. It said a thermocouple. Things don't freeze up and can't measure things anymore. You're living in the dark ages.
Of course things freeze up. In World War II...
No, they don't freeze up. That's exactly
in World War
what
II,
we're talking about.
In World War II...
You know how a thermocouple works?
In World War II...
I would be willing... I would
Why won't you let me speak, Zanik? I'm trying to say something here.
You like Google.
But in World War II, the pilots would get bottles of Coke, right? And then they would wrap a towel of cold water, with water in the towel, wrap it around the bottle, send the pilot up to high altitude, then they would come back down with an ice cold bottle of Coca-Cola. So when you get up, it gets cold. and everything freezes.
I posted the chart. You're free to look at it and make comments. If you want to know how thermocouple work, I urge you to go do a Google search on how does a thermocouple work, and you'll get your answers.
I'd like to know where the heat comes from.
What does this have to do with you dropping an object and it having an acceleration?
Oh, back to the acceleration. Yeah, acceleration. If there is an acceleration, which I doubt that there is, but if there is, then it has no force. It has no force behind it.
Where's your measurements?
How do we prove?
Where's your measurements to substantiate your doubt that there is an acceleration?
Measurements. We're manipulating a variable. We're not measuring it.
Chemo, these are the people that say the sunlight doesn't heat the atmosphere up, it heats the ground up, and then the ground heats the atmosphere up.
Exactly, Jeremy. So how's it going to make it cold, 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 warm, cold?
Yeah.
These people.
Hey, Jeremy, well, since you want to pipe in, how does any of this have to deal with him dropping an object and it having an acceleration?
Can you address what I just said, please? Can you address what I just said and not try to red herring?
Jeremy, you don't understand physics well enough to even get the
Oh, you don't understand fallacy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay, you want to talk about don't understand fallacy? All right, let's talk about the triangulation of India. Have you done the research?
Oh, here we go. I thought we were talking about acceleration.
I'm owning Jeremy real quick. Jeremy, have you done the research yet? You ready to talk about it?
You're owning Jeremy real quick. Why? Because you've been owned all day long, but that you have no science.
Incorrect.
Jeremy, have you done the research yet?
Jeremy did say he'd be ready today for 2 days in a row.
Right, Jeremy, all right.
I have not
You
looked
said
into
you
this
would research.
triangulation thing. You have no proof of curvature. This is not one of them.
But on, Jeremy, you looked into it? You looked into it?
Do you have a drop from horizontal? The red herring this came out.
Exactly.
Does the sunlight
Fallacy, fallacy, fallacy.
Guys, you guys are going about 5 different directions.
Yeah,
Jeremy just wants to step in and
I
ask
know,
for more
Kosher.
data.
Listen to them.
Okay.
How many different topics are they trying to
Jeremy
bring
needs
up?
to be fucking muted until he finally follows through with one of his commitments to have a conversation, right? He just keeps asking for details and then escapes the conversation saying he needs to look after it, comes here the next morning and does the same thing over and over again. He needs to be fucking muted
Jeremy,
until
I
you
actually
fucking have the
watched
conversation.
that 2-hour video on everything you know is wrong about the Anunnaki and stuff. That was really interesting. Do you have any more?
Good, right?
And do you have any more Anunnaki type videos?
No, I don't think so. That wasn't really supposed to be about the Anunnaki. That was supposed to be about big. Listen, let's not get off the topic. Is the sunlight heating the atmosphere up?
Yes, Jeremy. Let's not get off the topic, which is about acceleration.
Yes, Jeremy. What's your point?
Cabal's did have a question though, Jeremy. I know you brought something up, Jeremy. So I don't know if you want to ask your question again.
Kosher,
Jeremy,
you're breaking
about
up a little
question.
bit.
Oh yeah, we're actually on acceleration
You're
before
breaking up,
Jeremy
Kosher, a little bit.
interrupted.
Check your mic.
So we would like to return to the acceleration, Jeremy. I'm sorry. Don't red herring our argument.
Look, I don't understand why you avoid science at any cost. What's the problem with...
Kimo, as stated earlier, you avoid science at any cost.
Can you repeat that?
We're
Can you just repeat
scientists.
what
How
you
can
just
we
said?
avoid science? That's all we ever do is science. What are you talking about?
Wait, you've done science? What experiments have you done?
Well, I've
Talking
tested the rate of things falling. I've tested why things fall, directional wise.
You have?
I mean, there's not that many observed phenomena in nature that really requires an experiment. We can know these things through other means, other methods. For example, we can measure water or land to be absolutely flat.
Kimo, how does lightning work? That's an observed phenomenon. How does it work? Tell me.
And that's not a question, but I mean, I think it's to do with...
what do you mean? Okay, how does lightning work?
Well,
Again, let him stay on gravity.
I mean, I can get up...
He's choking as it is. Let him stay on that.
Yeah, and in the interest of being fair to everybody in here, just try to make sure that everybody's going different directions.
Yeah, stop with the red herring fallacies, please.
Jeremy, you're the fucking king of red herrings, okay? Shut the fuck up, go do some research, and come back and have a conversation for real. Alright? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, we can create lightning I mean, we know there's just charges in the atmosphere, and, if you really want to know, we can get into those things, but when it comes to...
back to gravity.
Yeah, I mean, with gravity...
Go ahead, Chemo. Sorry.
No, go for it, Jeremy. Go for it. You've got it.
It's. I mean, it's just the rudeness level in here. Me and Smooth have had cordial conversation, and he's being extremely rude. I don't know how you keep your cool, Chemo.
Because, Jeremy, you keep promising me you're going to come back and have a good conversation and do the research, and somehow, some way, you're always asking for more details about another subject. I have no clue how you're going to be able to have all these conversations you promise us, right, when you're never doing the actual research. So I'm saying you're turning into a black hole of effort.
All right, we'll make it clear right now. With this trigonometrical surveying thing, we're done with that, and it's over. End of story, next page, okay?
Okay, so you can see that I was right and you didn't have the ability to
Absolutely not.
dismiss that.
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
All right, cool.
Next topic. So get off my nuts, please. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeremy,
we're
I'll
trying to
squash
stay on
you.
target with the acceleration.
Where's Zanuck? Is Zanuck gone?
Object.
Does Zanuck go? Have he disappeared, Zanuck?
No, I'm still here.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to find out from you is we've got this acceleration. Now, how can we have acceleration without a force? You're saying there is a force. Now, what is that force, I'm asking you?
We don't care to know. We don't need to know.
No, I want to know. What is it? What's going on? Did you? How do you know it wasn't you? Did you cause the this acceleration?
No, I didn't cause it.
You didn't cause it. So if it wasn't you, what was it?
I wasn't near it.
Yeah, but if it wasn't you, if it wasn't you,
did I impart a force on this object, or was it just released?
But if it wasn't you, Zanuck, what caused the acceleration then? If it wasn't you,
question, I can't respond because you keep on talking over me.
All right, go on.
So yeah, if I impart a force on it, we can measure that force and see the results of that force added to an object. If I don't impart a force, then we got to figure out what caused the force. You can tell me, what do you think caused it? You said electronics or electromagnetism or
I'm trying to think of a situation where. So give me an example. What fell?
Let's say an apple. An apple is on that tree, and a little bit of a wind kind of shakes it, and it rocks back and forth. And the wind stops, by the way, and it's still kind of rocking back and forth. And finally, it breaks the stem and falls. And as it falls, it accelerates to the ground where it hits. So we can continue on if you'd like, but that's enough probably for now. So we noticed that the apple, which weighed, let's say it weighed a big apple, it weighed a kilo, it accelerated at 9.8 meters per second before it hit the ground. So we can assume now, because of Newton's law, that it had 9.8 newtons acting on it.
Yep.
At a force of 9.8 newtons.
No, not a force, acceleration, yeah?
No, a force.
What was that?
Acceleration was
What force?
9.8 meters per second.
What was the force?
This attraction force, why it wants to go down, this force of down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this force of down can't be measured because it's not really a force, because it's proportional to the mass. It's dependent upon mass. That means it's an attraction, because the larger the mass, the greater the force. Why the greater the force? Because everything accelerates at the same rate. If it does, then that force has to be algebraically proportional to the mass.
I'm not arguing about the speed that it accelerates. Don't care about that.
9.8 meters per second squared.
Don't care about the speed.
9.8 meters per second squared. That's not a speed.
I don't care about the acceleration.
What do you care about then?
I want to know if you caused it or not.
What do you mean caused it? Explain.
Well, you can't have acceleration without a force.
Correct.
So how did it start moving then?
Because it has an attraction to the ground.
That's what I'm asking. There's a force, yeah, that's attracting it, yeah.
There's an attraction.
Hey, what are we dropping? What are you dropping, Zanuck?
He's gonna drop an apple, but I reckon he shook the tree and he took a baseball bat and whacked it out of the tree.
No,
how can you prove, Zanuck? How can you prove the force that caused the acceleration?
Because we know when objects fall, that they have an acceleration. There has to be a force that causes the acceleration. We've said that many times already.
There's acceleration. We know that much. We've discovered there's an acceleration. So stop arguing about the acceleration. We know this.
We know acceleration has to be caused by a force.
Right. So did you cause the apple to accelerate?
No.
So what did?
An attraction to the
So
ground.
how are we going to test it?
Drop an apple. Change the height of the apples.
It's still, yeah, we're gonna have the same effect.
No, you don't.
Drop an apple at any height, and it will fall at
Drop
this
a
rate.
bigger apple. Drop a bigger apple.
It will still fall at this rate.
Right, but if the mass changes and the rate is the same, the force has to increase. So there you go.
Oh, it's the same rate, Zanik.
Same rate, but different force.
Different force?
Yes.
How's that different force? All you did was you add the density, you added matter to it.
You just confused him because you used force from F equals ma, and he thinks you're changing from gravity to something else.
All you did was add matter. Then you made it fall at the same rate. So what?
I didn't make it fall. It just did.
You caused it to fall at the same rate. You added matter to it.
Yeah, I keep on adding mass to it. Every test I make, this is an independent variable, by the way. Scientific method. You like that word, that term. So we're going to keep on adding mass to this apple. We're going to strap lead balls to it and tape it to it. Weigh it or test for its mass. And then we're going to continue to drop it repeatedly. Adding mass progressively.
Same effect every single time.
Hold on, I'm almost done. Every time we drop it, it accelerates at the exact same rate. At 9.8 meters per second.
Same effect every single time.
Not the same effect. The effect is it falling.
So that is the effect, Zanik.
Hold on.
Acceleration. It's the same effect. That's how a dependent variable doesn't change.
No.
Okay.
It falls at a different
We're going to strap
rate.
When you're done strapping all your lead balls to this, hold on, Zanik. When you're done strapping all your lead balls to this, we're going to strap some helium balloons to this and see how that goes for you.
That's fine.
We're going to have the same rate.
No, we have taken account of other forces too. Remember your control variables. Remember your control variables. Buoyancy is real, and it is a force that acts in opposition to the gravitational force.
Zanik, you can't go to buoyancy until you've manipulated gravity.
Buoyancy is the amount of
Jeremy, you've let him presuppose two things now.
Let me finish. You displace the medium. Whatever the weight of the displaced medium, that is the buoyancy upward.
Yeah, you're presupposing buoyancy.
Yeah, this whole buoyancy thing, you just
before you can talk about buoyancy, you've got to show. Before you can talk about buoyancy, you've got to show that the cause is gravity. All you've shown is the effect, the same effect over and over again. So what?
No, we've shown the cause to be gravity.
You haven't shown the cause. You've shown the same effect. We observe the thing fall at the same time.
That the things are falling due to gravity.
If I drop a double-decker bus and I drop a marble, they will both fall at 9.8 meters per second.
You can't listen. You continue to talk your silly rhetoric. Now, if you let me finish, you might learn something. So that gravity is the cause, because we know this. Because no matter what we do, no matter how much weight we put on it, how much weight we add to it, it still falls at 9.8 meters per second.
You're right. You'll get the same effect. No, he's right. We'll get the same effect every single time. So what, Zanik? So look. So Zanik, look. Let's say somebody. Let's say Zanik. Somebody
I'm not changing the force. We just added the weight. So the weight must be the cause of this acceleration.
So let's say, Zanik,
How about this, chemo.
Zanik, let's say, hold on a second. I'm going to make my point back to. So Zanik, let's say, for example, somebody's
onto a pressure plate.
Let's say, for example, Zanik, somebody observes a bus falling and a marble falling. How can they know what caused those objects to fall? Two different sizes, same effect. What caused that?
Not the same effect. The force is proportional to the mass.
What's the different effect?
It has a force. Listen, stop it. The marble has a mass. It has a weight. That's a force. The bus has a mass. It has a weight. That's its force. The vector's down. That's all we know for right now. Now, if you want to find out what causes that cause, you can investigate that as well. But as far as we're talking about here, we know the force is its weight. That weight is dependent upon the mass, period.
So when someone sees a bus and a marble, do they see the same effect?
What effect are you speaking of, Chemo?
The objects falling down.
Yes, both will fall down.
So they're both seeing the same effect.
No, the effect is different in both of them.
What's the different effect? What's the different effect on it?
Is that there's an acceleration based on the force, and the force is proportional to the mass, and it will accelerate at 9.8 meters per second squared.
So what was different about
barring
them
any
two?
other forces acting out against it, Mr. Helium Balloons?
So what was different about those two effects on it?
The difference is that the forces were different.
There were different forces, yeah?
Yes.
Different forces that cause the same effect.
Different magnitude of
You have to
force.
describe. See, you're not being very clear about the term effect. Once you give us a definition of effect.
Well, what is the effect? What's happening
It can
to
be
the
interpreted
objects?
many different ways.
What's happening to the objects?
What do you mean? What's happening to the object? Are you talking about a direction, a speed, a velocity? What? Acceleration? What? Everything? What?
Well,
What is your effect?
The apple.
Because I can make the effect as detailed or as simple as you want me to make it.
So let's say a bus rolls off a cliff. What will
What's
happen
the
to the
effect?
bus? What will be the effect?
What's the effect? Go ahead.
Yeah, if a bus rolls off a cliff, what's the effect?
What's the effect or effect?
The effect. What's the effect?
What's the effect? You tell me. What's the effect mean to you?
That's what I'm asking you. What is the effect?
I can say the effect could be it falls down.
So it falls down, yeah? So we see a bus and it falls down. That's the effect. So we drop an apple. What's the effect?
Falls down.
So what's different about
Then
those
we
two
drop a
effects?
helium balloon.
That would be the same effect.
Then we drop a helium balloon.
Why did you say that?
falls
Why
off.
did you say they're two different effects then, Simon?
That would have the same effect because we have the air around it pushing it upward.
So Zanik, you said that the two objects falling have different effects. What are those two different effects?
What's called the helium balloon or the bus or the marble or what?
The apple and the bus.
The apple and the bus, they both fall down.
And do they have different effects?
No, we said they just fall down.
Okay, so they have the same effect, yeah?
If the effect is it falling down, yes.
Okay.
Shannon, can you read the chat? I've been typing to you in the chat, man.
Okay, good. So,
He's running you in circles.
what's the cause of both of those effects?
An attraction.
An attraction. Okay, good. So how do we test that effect?
By changing the size and the weight of the object.
Well, we've got the same effect, Zanik.
Right? We test it we keep on varying the size and the distance above the ground and see if that acceleration is constant. And then we can take that number and pull out a force which it takes to make that acceleration occur.
So what effect will be different then?
Well, now we're talking about different effects. The only effect you wanted that we described in the beginning, remember, we level set the expectations with the effect. I defined it as something falling down.
Okay, so like I said, what will be the different
Now
effect?
you give an effect of, hey, my effect is something will accelerate when you're ready, and that acceleration will be based on a force, and that force will be dependent on the mass. We can make it as detailed as we want, that effect I'm talking about. So it depends on how accurate you want to be in describing this effect.
So I'm asking you, what is the difference between the bus and the apple?
The bus has a greater force applied to it.
What's the different effect, Zanik?
The effect, as we described in the beginning, the effect is the falling down. They both fall down.
Different. Is there a different effect?
Well, yeah, we can further clarify the effect. Now, is one going faster or slower? Is one, that kind of chain. We can change the definition of effect.
But when the bus and the apple fall,
effect.
when the apple and the bus fall, is there a different effect?
They both fall down. No, the same effect. Same simple effect we started at the very beginning.
Got the same effect. Okay, so what's the cause of this effect? Same effect that we've got. What's the cause?
It's weight.
The weight is the cause of the same effect.
Yes.
Okay, so how do we test that?
Well, what would be your dependent variable here?
Well, we've got the rate, 9.8 meters per second. Acceleration.
Is that what we're saying? That's the effect? Something falls at 9.8 meters per second? Okay.
That's what you said happens, right? That's what you observe.
Right? Fall. I didn't say it fell. I didn't say how fast I didn't say it accelerated. I just said it fell. That was the effect. Now we're getting more detailed in the effect.
But it's the same effect. That's the rate that you gave.
You want to test? So what's your hypothesis? So why don't you get your hypothesis then?
What, of why it falls is because of the medium that it's in. Change the medium, it will fall at a different rate.
Is that your hypothesis, or is that one I would actually describe?
My hypothesis is different to yours. Yours is
okay,
yours
so
is
your
gravity. Yours is an
something falls
attraction,
because
yeah?
of the medium it's in. So your hypothesis is the medium it's in, correct?
Yeah, if you change the medium, it will fall at a different rate.
Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to take that medium.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that medium in a big box. And put all the objects, the balloon, the bus, the marble, all in a big box, and accelerate that big box downward.
Okay, what?
If I accelerate that thing downward,
yeah,
I will notice all the objects will float. So the medium isn't the reason that things go down or up, because they're all doing the exact same thing.
Well, float. When you say float, what do you mean? It will stay where it is?
Stay where it is.
What, the objects will?
Nothing will move.
How did you do that?
He's telling you he's going to accelerate something, but the objects are going to stay where they are inside this accelerated thing.
Well, I'm asking, how did you keep the objects in the air without moving?
I just put them in a box and then drop the box.
Oh, so they are moving?
No, not the box.
What do you mean? They're not moving or they are moving?
They're moving in the box. They're not moving in the box, but they're moving relative outside the box, depending on what reference frame you're looking at it from.
Yeah, so they're moving. Okay, what's the problem?
They're not moving any differently because they're in the same medium and they all are different masses. So your differential medium is not the cause. Because why? They're not doing anything different. They're all doing the same thing.
But what medium is the box in?
Same medium that's inside the box. Air.
So why wouldn't it fall then?
It's all falling with the box.
They're all falling at the same rate in the box.
Yeah, but if you change the medium, then it won't fall at that rate.
What do you want with the medium? In medium independent. That's why medium's not the cause. The medium is the cause is the attraction to the ground.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything about a box. I said if I change the medium the object's in, then it will change the direction and might not even change the rate.
No, but you wanted to make a test, so I figured that's the best way to test it. Put that medium in a box and accelerate that box and see what happens to the objects inside.
They're going to fall still to the ground.
No.
How are you going to keep the box in the air?
I just told you. I take that box and I would have that box falling at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared.
Yeah.
Make sure I have a cable tied to it and have it fall at 9.8 meters per second squared, accelerate, and everything inside that box in your medium would be floating or be standing still with relation to each other. So no, the medium has no dependency whatsoever.
Well, how are you going to get the objects in the middle of the box?
How am I going to get it?
Yeah, how will the objects be in the middle of the box?
I can hang everything by a string and cut the string once I'm accelerating and see what happens.
You got the objects in the box. You're going to drop the box. Yeah. How are you going to keep the objects in the middle of the box?
They'll stay wherever. If I do this carefully enough, they'll just stay right where they are. They won't move.
How? I'm asking you. How are you going to do that?
Well, let's start out with the box. All objects hanging. And
all objects hanging. What do you mean hanging?
Yes, all dropping, hanging from a string or a chain.
Everything's hanging from a string. Okay.
You can stop sea lining at any time, Chemo.
Exactly. And then as you're falling, you can see that they're floating. You can cut the strings. No string holding them anymore, and they're all staying next to each other with nothing changing their rate of fall at all. Showing that the medium is not the cause. That's one test you can make. It's a simple test.
They're all falling together now. You've cut the string, yeah?
Cut the string. They're all falling together. Yep.
But what if you put the object?
No, in case you've been living in a cave or underground, they do this all the time inside the vomit column. So they accelerate. As soon as they start the parabolic path, they are accelerating downward. Everything is accelerating downward. Medium does not matter. Everything is floating. Helium balloons, rocks, people, water. It doesn't matter.
Let's say
as long as there's an acceleration downward of 9.8 meters per second squared. And by the way, this acceleration downward even occurs as the plane is going upward. Figure that one out.
So let's say I take the object outside the box.
Did you hear what I said?
And I drop the objects.
Acknowledge that you understand what I said.
Well, the same thing happens.
Even though you're going upward, it's still accelerating downward.
That's what we're trying to figure out, Zach. We're trying to figure out the cause of this acceleration.
Well, it's not the medium because we just showed that everything in that airplane that is going downward with an acceleration rate of 9.8 meters per second squared is floating. Everything. You, the water, a helium balloon, a lead ball, everything.
So what if the plane just stops?
What do you mean, what if the plane just stops?
In midair.
If it stops in midair, everything would fall down.
Okay.
Except for the helium balloon, which would go up.
So it's not really in midair then, is it? It's
no,
you're
trying.
just
See,
an illusion,
you're reaching,
right?
and I commend you for trying real hard, Chemo, but you're way off track here, pal. Way off track. I've just showed you that I had to get a condition where all objects in the same medium would not have any change in direction or velocity.
Did you change the medium? What was the medium they're in now then?
Air.
Air you haven't changed the medium then, have
Put in
you?
a vacuum, same thing happens. Put in water, same thing happens. These are tests you can do yourself. Chemo, for a quote college-educated person, I'm surprised you haven't done any of these tests before in your past.
I said to you to change the medium, Sonny. What was the medium?
I can change the medium to water, to mercury, to a vacuum, whatever you want, Chemo. See, this is what we're doing. We're testing it, and we're showing that branches.
But you dropped an apple in a different medium, or what happened?
Same thing happens.
What happened? It went down.
If the medium's more dense than the apple, then it will float. It'll go up.
That's why I said if you change the medium, it would change the direction.
Only because the medium now is more dense per volume than the object. That's how buoyancy works. Remember, there's a buoyant force based on the same principles as weight. So the weight of the medium now is more dominant than the weight of the object. So it pushes it out of the way. Just like Branch's picture. In fact, I don't know whether he said this before you made the comment, but my best example of that would be a zit, a pimple being popped. You put pressure at the bottom, pimple comes up because things are getting
But you
pushed
wouldn't have
down.
that pressure without a force, right?
That's right. The force is due to its weight, the weight on the medium.
How does it get its weight?
The attraction.
How do you test that attraction?
The attraction of masses to mass.
Yeah, how do you test that attraction?
Oh my God, this is like, we're going round and round, Chemo. I'm running out of energy for you, pal.
Well, as long as you make up things, Zanik, I'm going to ask you how you test them. It doesn't take more than
a third grade education to figure this one out. My kid, right here, he's a sophomore in high school. He's laughing at you right now. He knows this.
He was a genius.
If you're going to make up stories, Zanik, I'm going to ask you how you're verifying these things.
We already told you
how
how
to to
do that.
with saying a magical force applies pressure.
Put an object on a scale.
Without explaining what that force is.
I'm answering you. We put the object on a scale. It has weight.
Scale, yeah?
There's a force acting on the scale. Where does that force come from? The object.
You've got pressure.
Why does it weigh as much as it does? Because of attraction.
It weighs that much because it's in disequilibrium.
Chemo, you're making me work way too hard.
Asking the questions and answering them.
It's in disequilibrium there, Zanik. That's why it has weight. Once you put it in equilibrium, it has no weight. You can't weigh it.
What do you mean equilibrium? Like in water?
Yeah, once it's on top of the water, you can't weigh it.
Say we have a kind of a spoiled apple, and we put it in water, and it basically just sinks a little bit, and it just kind of stays there, not going down, not going up. Does that apple now not have weight?
How are you going to weigh it?
Easily. Mm-hmm. You can put it relative to the water. It has no weight. It could be floating. So relative to the water,
put what
has
in
no
the
weight.
water?
But we know the water has weight because we can weigh the water.
Oh, you can weigh the water.
So we know the weight of the water is exactly the same as the weight of the apple.
How much does the ocean weigh then?
That's why it doesn't move.
How much does the ocean
a balance
weigh?
of forces. There's no net force acting on it up or down, so it floats. So in one,
I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm saying, okay, fine. How do we test this force, though? You keep on giving us the same effect, not a different
all we do is
variable that causes
we find a medium which has slightly less weight than water. Say we try.
That's just my hypothesis, yeah? Now we're looking at your hypothesis. You say there's a force.
Question, then you start talking over me.
How are we going to test this force?
I just told you. Let me finish. Stop interrupting me. So now we're going to, instead of using water, we're going to use alcohol. We do the same test. And lo and behold, the apple does what?
I don't know. I've never tested it in alcohol. What happens?
Test it in mercury then.
What
the apple
happens?
Goes up, floats.
Okay. But we're looking at the same effect though, Zanik.
It sinks.
We see this effect everywhere, all over the world, but we don't know what happened. We don't know what caused this effect.
Lighter medium, it will sink. If you have a heavier medium, it will float. And then you can weigh these mediums for the same volume and find out which is heavier, and then determine, and that's your hypothesis, that the heavier medium will dictate which way or the object will go up if it's heavier. And if it's a lighter medium, the object will go down.
Where does the weight come from?
An attraction. I keep on thinking, deja vu or echo. What is going on here?
What causes that attraction?
Well, I don't know. That's for you to decide or figure out.
Well, how do you know it's an attraction then?
Bending space time, magnetism.
How do you know it's an attraction? Are you just guessing?
It could be all the things you can imagine. It doesn't matter.
How do we know you're not just guessing, Zanik?
What's that?
How do we know you're not guessing?
Because we can test it.
What can you test?
We already covered that, Chemo. Changing the mass.
And you have the same effect.
The same effect of motion, but not the same effect of the force. We already covered this.
What force are you talking about?
The force that's applied.
So if it was a different force, you would have a different effect. If I kick a ball lightly compared to hard, I'll have a different effect. Why do you get the same effect?
No. Remember. Wait. Chemo, not playing fair. We said the effect was it just going down. Now you kick a ball, it will be kicked in the direction that you kicked it. That could be the effect. It moves in that direction. But you're now trying to get detailed. And I told you that at the beginning. Do you want to be detailed or do you want to be not detailed? We stayed.
Actually, he's not trying to be detailed. He's trying to mishmash effects.
Exactly.
Different effects as being the same.
We've got the same effect because you've changed the mass.
No, you don't. Incorrect.
You've changed the mass, you have the same effect. That would be like me kicking the ball with different forces and it travels at the same speed.
Incorrect. Now you're trying to apply an effect of force as being the same as the effect of the change in position.
But what's the difference?
The difference is that you're an idiot, Chemo.
So you don't know the difference. So, Zanik, you've made a huge error here.
Incorrect, Chemo. I do know the difference between the effect of a change in position and a change in force.
What's the difference then?
The difference is that the one effect shows a change in position, as the words indicate, and the other shows a change in the overall force.
What's the change in position? It still moves at 9.8 meters per second.
That's the change in position is the 9.8 meters change.
Chemo, hold on a second. Chemo, are they trying to say the force of gravity is different in the same exact, the same spot, 1 foot away from each other, where we're going to drop these different objects?
No. They're saying that if they change the mass, they're saying they change the mass of the object.
Zanik, he's asking Chemo a question, man.
They change the mass, but they get the same effect. Whereas if we apply different forces, we get different effects. But for some reason, they change the mass, they change their cause, but get the same effect. That's backwards.
You know why, though?
You're trying to mishmash the different effects as being the same.
It is the same effect. It's 9.8 meters per second every single time you drop something.
That's one effect. That's different than the effect of changing the force.
You don't change the force. You're changing the mass.
You know why? You know why it's the same acceleration, though, Chemo? There's slightly different forces, but the acceleration appears the same because it's
no, I want Zanik to answer.
So it's inertia.
I want Zanik to explain.
Well, that's fine. I'd rather answer it that way. It can only be said once, and then it doesn't have to be repeated again and again because it's been like a 30-minute conversation.
It's only a matter of time.
So I'm going to finish saying this just the one time.
Nonsense.
I'm going to finish saying this the one time, and then hopefully it doesn't have to get said again. I know Chemo didn't hear me, maybe, but Zanik, please. I'm going to say this one time.
No, I was trying to say.
I know you're trying to say something, but in the middle of what I'm trying to say. Hold on. Yeah, so the acceleration.
I'm from Los Angeles.
Who's over talking, Coach?
I'm from Nickelwood, nigga.
Go on, Coach. Gives your explanation.
From Alabama.
Sure, hold on, buddy. The acceleration, the result of it is gonna be because of the force of gravity, which is going to be because the mass is bigger. It's going to be greater, but its inertia, its resistance to be moved, is also greater. So for this reason, the acceleration is you're going to see the same acceleration for two different two objects with different masses, because the force is greater, but also its resistance to be moved is greater at the same proportion.
The mass is greater, so it should have a greater force, a greater speed, but it doesn't. It has exactly the same Kosho. Where does that happen in the real world? It doesn't. That's the point.
That's not the point. Coach, why don't you answer that? I've already spoken.
I mean, I did. There being a point to, because I just said the answer to it before he asked that question, and he asked that question as if he didn't hear what I said. So there's no point to answer. Again, the proportion, the acceleration is going to be due to the size of the force, which is going to be greater because the mass is greater, but its resistance to be moved is also greater. For that reason, it balances out so that the objects move at the same acceleration.
The resistance is the medium that it's in.
Inertia.
You remove that resistance, then it will move at a different speed.
Nope.
If you add more resistance, it will move at a different speed. There you go. You change
Not
the medium,
if you actually have
the
the forces
effect.
being equalized out.
All we want to do is show the effect differently. You're showing the same effect.
Not really. If we actually put a pressure plate and drop the marble,
Show us a different
and the
effect.
bus
Show us go at a different
onto a
rate.
pressure plate, we can actually show the same effect of the acceleration.
I don't want to
but
see
a
the same
different
effect. Show me
of
a
force.
different effect, different rate with this force. Show that you can control it.
Yes, drop it upon a pressure plate that measures the pressure, the force over the area for the marble and the bus, and you will actually see the measurement of the different effect of force while still observing the same effect of the acceleration.
I'm not talking about
by
the force
change
now.
of
I'm
position.
talking about the acceleration. I want to see a different rate of acceleration due to control of your independent variable. So you can change the 9.8 meters per second to something else. You
I
can't.
can do that. Do you know how to do that?
How are you doing it?
What was the question you were just asked?
I'm asking you, how are you controlling the rate of 9.8 meters per second? How can you slow it down and speed it up? You can't, can you?
Actually,
We can
yes,
make
I
it go in the
can.
opposite. We
Other
can make it
people
go.
have.
We can make it go in the opposite direction, can't we, Chemo?
We can make it go opposite, we can make it go faster, we can make it go slower, we can go left, right, any direction you want. Show us that you can control the rate of 9.8 meters per second and speed it up and slow it down.
Simple. There's actually deep mines where they have measured a different acceleration rate at the bottom versus the top.
How would you make your car go faster or slower? What would you do?
Continuing on, also they've measured a different at the sea level as the top of Mount Everest for the weight, showing a different acceleration rate.
How do you control the acceleration of your car?
By applying a different force.
Thank you.
This is really simple here. Chemo wants us to step on the pedal of Earth.
Thank you very much. So, how are
No,
you controlling?
You don't understand, Chemo.
How are you controlling this acceleration of gravity?
Different force.
You know, they've been doing this for a few hundred years now, guys. You
How?
can roll
How
a
are they
ball
doing
down an incline, let a ball roll down an incline, and effectively change the acceleration of gravity by doing that.
By doing what?
Letting a ball roll down an incline.
Yeah. Okay, then what?
You want to change the acceleration? That's how you change it, Chemo.
Okay, so now you can make it go up the incline as well, yeah?
No, not up the incline, Chemo.
Well, that's
down
not
the
controlling
incline.
then your force, are you?
I told you how it's been done for 300 fucking years. That's how you change the acceleration.
So we can make a car, we can change the car's direction, and we can make it go up, down, left, right, anywhere we want. Why can you only make things go in one direction?
I didn't. I just made it go sideways.
Which way? Which is sideways?
Going down an incline, Chemo.
Going down. You just said it. Going down.
Chemo, stop it! You're giving us a headache.
So you can only control the downward vector.
All right. I've answered your question.
Make it
That's
go
how
up.
it's been done. It's been done that way for 300 years now, Chemo.
You've given me the answer.
I
Yeah,
don't care
you
if you
said
like
you
it
can
or
only
not.
make
That's
it
the way
go
it works.
down. That's not
This is
controlling.
This is why we went on this topic. We
You're roboting, Jeremy.
control our independent variable. We control up or down. You have no
Remove his
control over
W's.
this.
Got
You
a
have no
bad mic,
control.
Jeremy.
What's up?
Mike is roboting.
You were roboting horribly, buddy.
Oh, I don't know, but I think it was what's his name? Blue Marble was just saying something about the ramps or whatever. But yeah, it's when when Galileo had done that with the ramps and the balls, and just by the simple observation, by the longer that it's falling, the faster it will go, so that the speed is constantly increasing. That's evidence that there's a force involved. There's something that's constantly working on this ball to make it continue to go faster.
Not arguing against that. Now make it go the other way. Oh, you
Which
can't.
was exactly what I already informed you, Chemo, about when they have the measurable difference between being at sea level and the top of Mount Everest, as compared to the difference at being at the bottom of a mine and at sea level.
I don't know what that's referring to. We're talking about the ball going down. You want it to go up.
No, we are not talking about that, Chemo. I just gave you an example showing exactly what you said of make it go up, the actual force of gravity amount in the acceleration.
You keep on invoking gravity without controlling it.
I just told you how to, Chemo.
You only controlled the direction down.
No, I didn't. I
But it went
controlled the
down.
rate, Chemo.
You just said it went down.
Control the acceleration.
Hey, make it go up the ramp, Lou. You can't.
I can't make a steel ball go up the ramp any more than you can.
Yeah, we
Don't
can.
even
We
try
can put.
it.
Yeah, we
You
can.
can.
Of course, we can. We
No,
can
you
make it.
can't.
We can make it more dense
you cannot.
under that ball. Okay.
Do
We
what?
can put. We can put mercury under the ball, and it will go up.
Yes, I can put mercury under the ball and it will go up too, Chemo.
There you go. You control the direction. Nothing to do with any forces of gravity. Very
It's called
simple
relative
science.
density, Lou. Relative density. That's all you need.
All
Don't
you
need no
need.
made up magical.
Change the density of the
space-time
medium that it's in, like Jeremy's saying here, and you have full control, not just this downward slope, straight down. We need more than that, and we want full control over the independent variable. So we want to stop the ball from going down. What do? Oh yeah, just change the medium.
You introduce a second independent variable.
That's all you do.
No, just that's the only variable. Change the density.
No, because the fact is, when you have the medium static stay the same, you still observe the effect of the objects falling down towards Earth.
Not if you change the medium.
And when you don't change the medium,
then it will go down. So that's what it goes in that medium. You can't equalize in that medium.
that's actually showing that it's independent of the medium.
No, it's showing it can't equalize in that medium.
You got him, Chemo. You got him.
Well, you
And this
know, I mean,
happens
these
in
things
water,
are.
a different medium still.
Doesn't have anything.
And what happens when it still occurs in water, a different medium than air?
If what? If the object sinks in the different medium?
Yes.
Well, obviously it's relative. You would change the medium. Same as being out here. So if you're
Come on, you
underwater and it
you got
falls,
buoyancy,
change
you
the
have-
medium. Because not
you got
everything,
buoyancy, you
not
got
everything
drag, you
rises
got-
in water.
Okay, what about when you remove a medium entirely?
Remove a medium entirely. Well, how are you going to do that? Nature abhors a vacuum, so how are you going to do that? How are you going to find a vacuum?
You admit that a vacuum exists, so that would be constituting removing a medium.
No, you're never going to find a full vacuum, are you?
How many times are you going to move the goalposts, Chemo? You've already moved them 2 or 3 times. You going to do it again?
What have I moved now? We're talking about the medium. He says...
No. We started out talking about gravity. We started out about talking about the acceleration of gravity. You wanted to know how to change it. I told you how to change it. Then you go and start talking about buoyancy, which depends on gravity. It wouldn't work without it, Chemo. Relative density is absolute bullshit.
Jeremy,
it's
you can
just
do
a
this.
number. It's just a number. That's all it is. There is no force associated with relative density, guys. Come on.
You're trying to prove
Don't be
gravity.
ridiculous.
How are you going to invoke buoyancy when you haven't proven gravity yet?
I just did.
You just proved gravity?
I told you how you can change it. I told you how you could change the rate of acceleration.
No, you don't control. Listen, you can't make the ball go up the ramp.
I can make the ball. No, I can't make a steel ball go up a ramp in thin air, buddy.
We can.
What I can do?
We can.
You're talking about now. You go to replace the ramp with mercury. Now you're talking about buoyancy.
No.
Yes, you are. All right, I'll tell you what. I want you to do this. Do this for me, and I'll make the ball go up the ramp. Make me a ramp out of mercury. I want it at 45
No, we're going to just put the ramp, the ball. We're going to put everything in mercury.
No. I want a ramp made out of mercury at 45 degrees. You do that, and I'll make the ball go up the ramp.
It doesn't work like that.
Who's going to make a ramp out of mercury? What are you even talking about right now?
That's silly, Blue.
No, it's not silly. No, it's not.
How can we make a ramp out of mercury?
300 years ago, guys. Come on.
We have to apply pressure to the ball. That means applying density under where we need the pressure
Density
applied.
is not pressure. Density is not pressure. Density is nothing.
No. But I'm saying that we need
unit volume.
I'm saying that we need to apply pressure to make the ball
like kilograms per cubic
move.
meter.
You see? How can we move the ball without pressure, Blue?
Cubic meter and divide it by kilograms per cubic meter, and you have nothing. Just a number.
Blue, how can we move the ball without pressure?
Magnetism, electricity.
That's one way. Yeah, you can use magnetism if you want.
You're talking about without a force.
Well, it's with pressure. So obviously there's a force if there's pressure.
No pressure. No force, not pressure.
Yeah, but you can't have pressure without a force.
Pressure is force per unit area.
You can't have pressure without a force.
I just said pressure is force per unit area.
You still can't have it without a force.
You got a learning disability, Chemo. Pressure is force per unit area.
Seriously asking that question?
We're saying the same thing.
He does.
So we understand each other. You need a force. So obviously when we apply a pressure to the bottom of the steel ball, you tell me what the force is.
When you apply a pressure to the bottom of the steel ball.
That's what's happening. That's why it's going up. It's not magic, Blue.
It would be the force that you're applying to it.
Yeah. Blue, I need to figure out something. Yeah, which force under the steel ball are you talking about there? Like, what is it on?
Yeah.
What do we?
Yeah, what do you? It makes no damn sense.
What makes no sense? Relative density.
Nothing you're saying. Nothing you're saying makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense because if you change the medium, you change the rate the object falls.
What is the pressure under the ball? You're talking about if the ball's sitting on what? What pressure under the ball? Where's the ball sitting?
No. In order to move the ball, we need pressure applied to it.
No, we already disproved that, Chemo. You even validated that we can move it with magnetism or electricity or some other force besides pressure.
That is a force.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
You just said it. Some other force. You just said it. Some other force. Right. A force.
Yeah. We know it's not gravity.
Oh,
Gravity's
we know
not
it is
how.
gravity.
Gravity's
How
not
do you know it's not gravity?
because gravity's not pulling the ball up, is it? There's no mass above the ball that it's being attracted to.
The ball is not going up.
Actually, yes. In
Oh my God,
experiments out in
Blue! He
space,
doesn't.
there is.
Blue, he doesn't understand that forces summate like vectors. That's the problem here. He's treating everything like it's just a modulation of one force, and not that the effect of a bunch of forces summates into a direction.
Way more problems than that.
Just a few more problems than that, yeah.
There's no problem.
You really don't see that he's got a learning disability?
You
No, he
cannot
doesn't have a
win
learning disability. He's just
people that are
fucking
willing to
dishonest.
be
No, you're wrong.
dishonest. People that are this dishonest and willing to say such stupid things in public in front of other adults. You can't get anywhere in an argument with them. You can be right all day long. And Chemo and Jeremy will sit there and just derp themselves and giggle in their pissy fucking diaper puddles and act like they've won. I don't get this. They're wrong.
Kurt, have you been listening?
Jeremy, this is not the time.